All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting week of Track Limits Racing. Round number 5. We're diving into Detroit Belle Isle. I'm Fettuccini once again in the commentary booth alongside Phil Milwee. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm getting amped up. We're getting there. I'm bringing the energy, trying to find the energy to bring it up to us. Round number 5, Detroit Belle Isle. I believe a track you are quite enamored with. Am I correct?
Enamored. This track, I'm gonna tell you a story. This track is my one and only race win in all of iRacing.
We've seen both the tracks that we've gotten solo wins on in this
Yep.
season. Because we went to Long
Yep.
Beach a few weeks ago, right? And now we're
Yep.
here for yours.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Now, when I did it, it was the Ferrari GT Challenge, so I don't know what's about to happen here.
A little bit of a
Like
different
30
environment with multi-class
Yep.
driving.
Yep, we are in a very different environment. We've got 36 cars on track,
Yes.
multi-class,
Yep.
and this track is known for doing interesting things to car suspensions.
That it certainly is. I have to imagine that it would be a it'll be a fun one. I think it'll be one where you get to see who's really nailed down the braking markers, their rotation, how all that bumpiness affects those drivers as they get themselves sorted.
I think it's gonna be very tricky. I think in traffic management, once you basically get out of the first effectively 2 corners, in multi-class traffic, you may have to lock in and just like try and find a way to defend if you're in a fight, while at the same time too not trying to push multi-class like traffic management to the point where you send yourself and some of your colleagues into the wall. But we're about to find that out in a few minutes.
We certainly will be. I think in just a few minutes time we have, I believe, if I head over to the race button here, take a look at what time we have left. 20 minutes left in free practice, and I think that's probably a perfect amount of time to get these cars up to speed and also get a quick talk about where we're standing in the points as we get into the back half of this season. So why don't we hop over to that one as soon as I hit the right buttons for it. All right, LMP3 Pro. To kick us off, Jane Ledbetter leading the points by 23 to Ethan Hamlet, Benjamin O'Shea, and Ethan Hamlet there swapping who's in second and third. Nathaniel Baker as well as Jan Cardoso, I think, swapping places. Jack Wilkins, Michael Lively also going to be swapping places there. Grid still pretty tight, especially where I think we're going to be including drop rounds after this week. It'll be fun to see where the points kind of equate out to and where the drivers are as a result of the drop rounds. What are your thoughts as we get into the back half of the season for LMP3 Pro?
I'm just interested to see what the top 6 looks like after we do some drop round calculations. I think it's going to tighten up a little bit. I think Ethan and Jaden, it's going to be an interesting battle to the end, I think, with those two. But I really feel like this track in particular, I mean, with the introduction of the circuits that we had this season, especially rounds 3, 4, now 5, there's nowhere to hide. Like if you've had 2 bad races, those are your 2 drop rounds. From here on out, you kind of need to maximize points on track everywhere we go from here on out until the rest of the season. So I think after this race, it's going to be just interesting to take a look at the standings.
Certainly will be. I think it'll be fun to see where the drop rounds shake up the point totals here. I think it's going to be true. It's something we'll probably say pretty unanimously across the board for the next 5 different groups, other 4 groups that we have to talk about tonight after LMP3 Pro. But I think it's one we can just kind of keep in the back of our head for the rest of the season from now till round 8 when they're all done and it's a final sprint to the finish. I think it'll be interesting to see how those drop rounds shake up standings. Not to discount Mike Bowen, still sitting there with 176 as well. With 12 points, down 176 from the leader. There's this whole cluster of cars there going through turn number 3. LMP3M. Phil, do you want to give us a quick rundown of where they're at?
Yeah, I mean, Paul Miles still in the lead. Had a very rough Laguna, but still on top. Alan Love in second with 107. We got Garrett Hillman, Cameron Robertson, and Ryan Blyce rounding out the top five. Nathaniel Wilkins, Quinn Fenimore, Jake Fulton, Johnny Salata, and the newly transferred Herbert Pineda round out the top 10. We got some spots that were swapped around. The big one, Cameron Robertson jumping up 3 spots to get into fourth. And then I would say, again, kind of very similar to what we were talking about before with the drop rounds. I think we might see the battles tighten up. Probably, I would say, within maybe the top 4, maybe top 5.
I want to say top 5 because there's only 6 points between Cameron Robertson and Ryan Blyce, and that's the same gap that Cameron Robertson has to Garrett Hillman ahead of him. So I think the top 6 I think would be ones to keep an eye on, and how the tie between Nathaniel Wilkins and Quinn Fenimore for 6th and 7th shakeout. Always fun to have a battle in class go so close together. And when we add in the drop rounds, how does that shake up for both those drivers? As they both at least miss one race, one driver missing 2 races so far this season. I think he's largely said that he's going to be in and out of the season, if I remember correctly, for Nathaniel Wilkins.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see there. But nonetheless, see how they keep on keeping on as the rounds continue forward and we get through this back half of the season. Over to GT3s. Gob Chavez leads by 1 point to Tyler Tourville after 4 rounds of racing. And I would say the battle, I think, for the top spot is pretty darn close between these two drivers as we get into the back half with only that 1 point. And I would imagine as the drop rounds would only take them, I think, a little bit closer together as a result.
Yep. Yeah.
But we'll have to see if one of them has. I can't remember. They both have had one, I think, bad round out of that first 4. And that's where we'll see those 4 or those drivers see that maybe that swaps as a result of who had the least worst points drop. But Tanner Schiffner, not to be discounted, only 14 points behind. Tommy Kogan and Chris Turner rounding out the top 5. Aaron Mathias, Kyle Potter, Ryan Buchanan, Matt Pyle, Christopher Blue. Christopher Blue up into the top 10. You can see those pluses and minuses next to those drivers where they've gone up and down the order from where they were last week in terms of the number of which position they were in and their point totals respective. The manufacturers there. A lot of Porsches in that top 10. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think what we were talking about before with drop rounds, kind of tightening the field up. I think it's just interesting to me because, I mean, we've got really tight pockets with the top 3, and then probably from, I'd say probably P5 to P9, really close. So I think, I'm just excited to see what it's going to look like, especially as we get to round 6. The tracks are going to start opening up a little bit, and I suspect we're going to see even closer points totals from here on out to the end. But, yeah, I'm just excited to see what it all shakes out.
Absolutely. Getting outside the top 10, a little bit bigger of gaps to most of these, but still interesting as we get through the back half of the season. Paul York, I want to see how he keeps working up the season. I know he was doing really well, I feel like, in the races that we saw a lot of those in the GT4 Pro Series last time out. So seeing where those drivers are as we get through the second half, see who jumps into the top 10 from this top 20, I think will be also a very fun piece as well. GT4 Pro. Phil, do you want to take us through those and where it's just another fantastic battle for the top spot of this one as well.
Yep. Nick Bowen, Jake Hewitt separated by 4 points, top 2 spots. We got Scott Fleming only 5 points back, and then Henry Garcia is not out of it either. 19 points is not a big gap to close. Then we've got Corey Lobner, Colin Johnson, and Tim Mello 5, 6, and 7 in pretty close proximity, with Sophie Bozeman, Lee Wu, Stephen Wallace rounding out the top 10 in GT4 Pro.
Yeah, good stuff. I think we might end up sounding like a broken record after the end of all of these drop rounds. I think are going to break this to be one heck of a final back half of the season for these podium spots between these 3 drivers with how close they are right now. and all of them making the 4 races for the top 5. So really, I would say, I think even Corbett Lobner has a pretty solid chance with the drop rounds to make his way into the podium for where he's at 5th right now. But he really has to, I think, capitalize on these last few races. And being here tonight is going to be at least a good help, assuming he can keep it on the track and keep it going the right direction.
Indeed. Yeah, I think this track in particular, keeping it on track, staying out of the pits, trying to finish that feature race and maximize your points is going to be it's going to be big dividends for anybody that's been really struggling to put some points on the board this season. So.
Absolutely. And then last but certainly not least, GT4AM, Sean Sullivan leading that charge with Sean Harvey. A different spelling of Sean. 2 Seans. Battle of the Seans for the top point of there. Logan Branson in 3rd, up ahead of Adrian Marizak, who sits in 4th. Andrew Seeley ran up top 5 there. William Lewis, John Newman, Levi Powell, Drew Friedman, and David Schneider for the top 10. Such close gaps throughout most of this field. Tie for 5th with Andrew Seelig and William Lewis. I think that'll be fun to see where the drop rounds as well as tonight cements that fight for the kind of last part of the top 5. What else am I missing here that'll be fun to talk about as we get into the back half of the season?
I mean, the big thing that I'm curious about is like a 32-point gap in the top 7 is not a lot. To be perfectly honest, I would even say that this season we could see, I mean, even as far as Dave Schneider potentially start to creep up, because again, it's like once drop rounds are calculated, that's going to make a big difference. We're going to go through a bunch of tracks right now that are going to open up. There's still going to be tough road circuits and stuff like that, but they're not going to be nearly the same level of close quarters combat that we're used to seeing in the last 3 rounds. So I suspect we're going to see people trying to finish those races and maximize points more, probably going to have less retirements. So I think now we're going to really start to see the numbers start to tighten up a little bit. And I suspect we should see some compression between positions 1 and 10.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think, the thing we see, and not to discount the other drivers here as well. Zaxton Hillman, I think one of our newcomers, still trying to find his feet amongst all this, but it'll be fun to see where the latest few drivers, kind of cement their positions amongst all this. But I think that takes us through the end of points and AM standings, and we have about 10 minutes left. Hold on, I'm going to hit all the wrong buttons there. There we go. Final thoughts. What's the keys? How do you survive this? Is gonna be, I guess, my question.
How do you survive it? Patience, man. You got to be patient. You got to have your head on a swivel. You got to know. I think if you come into this round with the if gap then car mentality, you're gonna probably check out pretty fast. But the thing that I'm gonna say here is, patience is going to be everything. Once you get past, like I said, turn 2, you start getting into the really tight walled in section. It's going to be very tricky to do traffic management, but you're just going to have to be patient. You're just going to have to understand that the car in front of you may not be able to go as fast as you can. And that's going to be something that you're just going to have to figure out how to defend under those circumstances, or when to pull the trigger and push to get the pass off. But we'll see how it all shakes out. One thing I do want to say is I'm just looking right now at these numbers coming in from LMP3 right now, and there is a absolute mix-up right now with LMP3 AM and LMP3 Pros.
Yeah, I'd say Jake Fulton, Herbert Pineda, speaking of, who has just joined that category, finding himself in 5th overall, I think is probably pretty exciting. I think definitely the multi-class driving is going to make lap times here a real gamble on trying to figure out how fast a driver is going until we get into qualifying.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. It's going to be pretty tough. That said, I think qualifying around here is going to mean a lot for sure, but I really feel like that heat race finish is going to be the prize that everybody's going to be aiming for.
Absolutely. We'll have to see how well they do coming through the end of this. I don't know that Logan Branson knows that he doesn't have a wing.
He may not.
I think understanding where multi-traffic is going to be super tricky in this one. and knowing where to
Yeah.
pass, especially for the GT3s, where to manage the LMP3 traffic as well as pass GT4s. I don't think I would want to be in a GT3 tonight. I think I'd love to be in either of the faster or the slower class.
Yeah.
But I think having to manage both will make for a very busy time. We're going to see a lot of wall contact, I think, as well, both real as well as what the simulator perceives as contact. All right. Well, with 5 minutes left, we're getting the driver briefing, I think, underway for the drivers. What do we have to look forward to between now and the end of the season? We have 3 more races after this one.
Yep. Yeah.
We're going to a good host of places. Looking at the actual schedule here for me. Sorry, we have 5 more rounds, not 3 more.
Oh yeah, no, we got a packed season.
Yes.
But that said, I think a majority of the tracks that are left on the calendar, like I said, we're gonna be moving away. I know people have been really enjoying the calamity of the nice tight road courses, but we're about to open things up, and we're gonna start hitting some very traditional American road courses for multi-class racing. Kicking it off with Watkins Glen on the 21st.
Yeah, it'll be, I think, make for some. Yeah, we're going to so many good, like traditional, like you just said it, but I'm going to reiterate it in a way that I think we're going from the kind of difficult and really technical part of the season, what I think makes this season exciting for the drivers that are fans of that technicality. Going from Long Beach to Laguna Seca, which is such a hard multi-class track, such a fun track to be at, but so hard for multi-class. We saw it, last week when we were out. I say last week, a couple weeks ago, I believe, when we were out. But the opportunity there to get good drives in was so hard. Managing that multi-class traffic through the kink we saw so many cars get caught out, and I think Detroit, the last of the kind of close in season, but there are parts of Indianapolis that will be, I think, not too forgiving either. So they're not fully out of the woods, but I think Indiana.
Oh yeah.
So they've got a couple more opportunities.
Yeah, I think the kinds of road courses that we tend to pick here on the Sports Car Series, again, we like to use a lot of the American tracks, and American GT racing is pretty unforgiving when it comes to track limits. There's not a lot of tracks that we race at that have mega runoffs where you can kind of like goof around. I think probably the one that's going to have the biggest amount of runoffs is actually going to be Indianapolis, and some of the sections transitioning from oval to road and road to oval. That said, there's still a lot of tracks on this calendar that can punish you. VIR is a pretty brutal track, especially if people are not going to put in the time and actually learn the track layout and try and get an understanding what the pace differential is going to be in some of the more technical sections on that track. Same deal with Road Atlanta. Road Atlanta is an incredibly punishing circuit, and anybody who's watched Petit Le Mans will know that for sure.
Oh yeah. Petit Le Mans, I would say, you look at, Road America is no slouch either. A lot of that, pretty much zero camber on any of the corners makes for such a interesting, bit of footwork for a lot of these drivers, especially when you get to kind of like the middle technical sector, and you have, hills that lead into immediate corners. So you got to be careful on the braking, not to overbrake, because you'll then just hit the ABS as it tries to keep the cars from locking up for our 2 GT machines. And then that prototype, it has no such luxuries. So being really careful with the braking there to not end up locking up the tires over that crest is going to be, it's going to be busy. It's going to be a fun and busy season. Just like a lot of these drivers as they're getting through the track here, because we are about to go racing, I think, pretty soon here. Once we get qualifying underway in a few minutes' time, I think we'll do our usual hop onto some onboards when we're in the qualifying drives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm giving people kind of kind of like an on-track view of what the what the circumstances these drivers have found themselves in would probably be a good show for everyone to see.
Yeah, it's much like when we were at Long Beach, but even a little bit, I think, more bumpier, as well as a little bit simpler, but no less, I think, technical to just not go too wide. You know, it's such a habit to try to push as much time out of the car as you can, but if you overstep the lines here, with the exception of like maybe the first couple of corners, if you're lucky, there's not a lot of runoff to catch the car if you go too far.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very tricky, and I think a lot of these lap times that we're seeing, I mean, we're seeing some really good lap times. I mean, Ethan Hamlin's pumped in a 22.7. Tanner Schiffner, I mean, that gap in GT3 is mesmerizing to look at right now in the top 10.
Oh yeah.
And then Jake Hewitt with a 4/10 gap on Corey Lobner. That's all well and good. Once we start mixing into the traffic, those lap times are going to be a pipe dream. We're going to be 2-3 seconds off the pace, pretty much on average. Because I'm serious when I say this. If people in the GT3 or GT4 class, I mean, to be perfectly honest, across all the classes, if you're not ready for the pace differential that some of these cars are going to hit, especially when you're in the more technical sections that are walled in and tight, it's going to be a long night.
Be a busy night for us as a result, which will be fun to keep an eye on, ideally without causing too many issues. But we'll have to see here in about a minute's time. I do get the feeling the pace differential will make the lap times look great on paper now, but it's one that I think we won't get too attached to. You know, it's not. It'll be way less about the pace in the single lap time, and more the consistency and ability to manage traffic and get through traffic clean and effectively without causing issues or wrecking. That I think will really cement where these drivers are from the heat into the feature, and then from those feature results and the points they get there.
Yeah. Man, I'm seeing so many cars blinking around here too, and that's giving me a little bit of PTSD, not gonna lie.
I was worrying it was just me for a moment, but then the more I look at it, it's not just me. So
I think with checkers, we're going to get ready to transition to the next session here in a moment.
That we are. Let's see, who do we wish to ride on board with for a couple of laps here? Let's get ready to go out for solo qualifying for those who are new to track limits racing. It is 10 minutes, 3 laps to get your best time in. 3 time laps to get that opportunity to see how fast these cars can go the right direction around Detroit. Let's see, I can pop out track map, which won't show where they are right now, so be less of a help in the immediate future.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we got a little bit of cloud cover. Looks like track temps shouldn't be too big of an issue today.
Good to hear.
That said, I'm really kind of curious in the feature race. We're going to be seeing any tire stops. This is another one of those where I'm kind of also curious. This is probably, if I remember correctly, I believe this is our this is our next to last 70-minute feature race before we hit our next 90-minute.
Yes.
So I'm kind of wondering if a single stopper
is possible
is
here
on the menu for somebody. Yeah.
We'll have to see. I think it's doable if you really are careful with that, because you have so many good opportunities for the braking into this track. But speaking of braking, Luke Patrick diving into turn number 3 here. Well, do you want to talk us through the rest of the lap here?
Oh man, it's so tricky from here on out. You got nice narrow road circuit action here for 4, 5, and 6, and then we're gonna hit this on corner exit here. Probably the closest thing we're gonna have for a straight for a little while. Again, it is pretty wide right here, so I wouldn't be shocked if we see some 2 wide, 3 wide action with the multi-class as they're trying to basically get the passes done before we go into turn 7. Very aggressive curbs on the inside of 7, 8. And then you're kind of setting up around the fountain section here at 9, 10, 11. And then taking turn 11, straight section here, but pretty short. Again, aggressive curbing here as we go through turns 12, 13. Setting you up for the brief kink here at turn 14, which I'm really hoping people don't get brave and try to pass in because it's kind of a sneaky corner. And then that's a lap of Belle Isle.
It's so deceptive here. First couple of corners, just some winding left-handers and right-handers. Luke Patrick getting a good time in, but 0.3 slower than Ethan Hamlet. Tanner Shipner, I think, is getting his first lap time in, but we'll hang on and ride along board with him for his second lap time, see if he improves at all. And get a feel for the difference in the GT3s. I think we've talked about it a lot this season. Just a little bit more, I would say, lifting in a lot of the medium and high speed corners, and differing speed paces there where you see the drivers have to, there's less aero in this car. So there's less opportunity for these drivers to kind of really lean on the tires without worrying that they'll just slide out from under them to try to make it around a corner than you would see with the LMP3. Technical opening sector as usual. Just some nice... It's deceptive because they all look like 90-degree corners when you're driving through them, but when you look at it on paper and you actually go through them, you realize that they're all like a little different. They're not really 90-degree corners. Some are more than 90 degrees and some are less than 90 degrees. And then you get into the wide sweeper of turn number 7 that sets you up for this fountain section. And it is such a fun off-throttle, on-throttle, off-throttle again. It's a dance with this car for the series of right-handers, 8, 9, 10, series of left-handers to the right-hander of 11. And then you kind of shotgun it out over what is all, on the other side of this is couple of like small buildings and stuff, but then it's water. You can see it off on the far left there as he comes through the kink of turn number 14. Let's see if this driver improves. The answer is yes. He can jump himself up to P1 as a result.
Yeah. The P3 right now in the standings, and Tanner Schiffner is trying to maximize points as best he can. I mean, we're on board right now. Who are we on board with?
Scott Fleming.
Oh, no. Scott Fleming.
GT4 Pro.
Yeah. I see the yellow indicator on the left now.
Mm-hmm.
One thing to note, and this is again for the audience, is how bumpy this track is. And specifically the LMP3s, I think, are going to struggle the most with this. Mm-hmm. But I think it's still very challenging even for the GT cars. Bumps on corner entry, corner exit. You're really going to want to make sure that you have a firm understanding of how you're going to manage to break in a straight line before turning. Some corners might present trail braking opportunities. I don't know. Again, with the bumps, it's very tricky. And then, of course, you got to watch on throttle because you get a nice bump to the suspension and you could end up looping the car on corner exit quite easily.
Yeah, we saw it a lot during practice, that very thing. And while it's nicer on these GT cars, you definitely see how bumpy it is even for them as they're coming through this middle sector. And it's just so uneven, the surface. And it's, we are truly at a street circuit. Not that we weren't before, but with Long Beach, this is, I think, probably the most, you're fighting the track as much as you're fighting the other drivers around you. Very similar to some other tracks that are have that bumps or a lot of that elevation change. This one doesn't have the elevation change, but it has the bumps, which are almost as bad, if not worse in some areas.
Yeah, and GT3, I don't know if you check the standings, but Gab Chavez and Anthony Newman pipping Tanner Schiffner And the thing that I was talking about during free practice, man, look at that gap between the top 4, but then take a look at it and extrapolate it down to P9. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not talking a lot of time between these cars right now. Like, it is just really close in GT3 right now. Everybody seems to be putting in a really solid effort. In GT4, I think there's a little bit more of a gap forming, especially between Corey Loebner and Logan Branson, but still, I think it's going to be interesting. Jaden Ledbetter jumping up to 3rd, it looks like, in the number 3 machine with a 24.277, currently 2.43 off Ethan Hamlet, with Luke Patrick on top with a 23.569.
Man, I don't think Ethan Hamlet got a good lap time in this most recent time by, because we saw him doing 22s in practice. So interesting to see how those drivers see if they can get a good lap time in. Speaking of Ethan Hamlet, see where he ends up at the end of his 3rd lap. So it is a very busy grid. The distance between Benjamin O'Shea and Jaden Ledbetter being 0.03 of a second, I think is going to set him up for a pretty busy time. And still a few more left to qualify. I think we're going to have a total of 39 drivers taking to this grid. It's going to be a very busy track. 2.35 miles long circuit, 39 cars. Not a whole lot of breathing room, especially when you get the multi-class driving action all spooled up and put together. See if Colin Johnson, looking to see if he can improve his time, gets himself up to 5th overall, 5th in class, 4th overall. Logan Branson right behind him. Ethan Hamlet finally getting to the 123s, but gets it with a 23.32.
Yeah, these are really good times from the LMP3s. It's pretty wild. And then looking at Tanner Schiffner again, jump into the top, and
oh my gosh.
And the 85 McLean jumping in there too, only 1/10 back, and Tommy Kogan in the mix, like
100th behind him.
GT3 is shaping up to be probably the class to watch here, because I mean it is very. I mean, we got 20 cars, and like we said, it's like barely second between the top 11, top 12.
Yeah, it's a little bit further when we've gotten them down to the 127s, which also, you look at that, that's only 4 seconds slower than the fastest LMP3. So the LMP3s are going to have to be really patient and find a good spot to actually gain time and make a good overpass where they're not just losing time to them for themselves and the GT3s around them, which I think is going to be the part that is going to be hardest for them. So really finding the opportunity to pass will be, I think, a huge piece. Steve McLean in the new livery, having a pretty fantastic run, going for the vintage, I think, Ace Motorsports kind of look. As we get through qualifying, we're going to get ready to grid here in just a moment. We'll talk you through that starting order. So you have a little bit of cloud cover really settling in. Do we have a chance of rain? Or am I...
That is a good question.
Yeah.
What do you got on that info? What do you got on that infographic?
On the infographic, I don't see anything.
Actually, you know what I can do?
Yeah, you have more than I got, which is...
I mean, it looks all right. Like, I don't see anything. There's no rain chances or anything like that. 20 C, 20 degrees C, and we got 50% humidity in the air. A little bit of wind, nothing major, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting race. They shouldn't be complaining too much about track temps, but I don't think that's going to be the whole story when it comes to degradation on tires.
I'd imagine that it's going to be a lot more on those inputs that you say. The bumps also will not help, but getting through a starting grid here, we've got the likes of Ethan Hamlet coming home into the pole position once more. Only 600ths ahead of Luke Patrick, who set a fantastic final time to be at the 123.38 or 390, if I remember correctly. Benjamin O'Shea only 2/10 behind, and then Gian Cardoso in 4th. Jaden Ledbetter are going to be in 5th, with Jake Fulton leading off LMP3 AM in 6th. Garrett Hillman and Herbert Pineda going to be 7th and 8th in the LMP3 category. And then we have the likes of, I believe, Alan Love going to be Alan Love just ahead of Alex Velasco, Nathaniel Baker, and Cameron Robertson. The last 3 didn't get good qualifying lap times in. And then we get into the GT3s. Phil?
Yeah, we got Tanner Schiffner on the top spot with a 27.747. Steve McLean in the 85, lining up alongside him, followed by Tommy Cogan and Gab Chavez on the second row. Anthony Newman's going to have to settle for the third row alongside Austin Green with Andrew Mathias and Joey Melitti, 7 and 8. Christopher Blue is going to line up alongside the 949 machine of Robert Lewis. Belle 10 is inside the top 10 with Matt Pyle and Kyle Potter, 11 and 12.
Yeah, you see all those drivers who didn't get qualifying time in working their way up to it. So we got a shortened pace lap. So let me get through these real quick. Jake Hewitt and Scott Fleming are going to be in the first row with Jake Hewitt leading the way. Corey Lobner going to be in third with Tim Mello in fourth. Luca Branson and Colin Johnson. Logan Branson going to be the LMP or GT4M pole sitter there. He's going to be in fifth overall. Sean Sullivan, the next driver in GT4M, going to be alongside Levi Powell for seventh and eighth on that fourth row of the grid. Andrew Seelig as well as David Schneider, as we get fully into the GT4M, is going to be in 9th and 10th overall. And then we get Drew Friedman, John Newman, Adrian Marizak, William Lewis, as well as Sean Harvey, the 15-car GT4 grid as well. I think we have a couple more in there. Levi Powell, I think, is in, started from pit lane. We have 2 pit lane starters as a result there.
Probably thinking they're going to dodge the chaos. The safety car should be coming in here in a moment.
Yeah, the pit entry is just over the corner.
Ready to go. Yeah, we should be getting ready to go racing.
Hey, you see it right there? The pit.
Whoa, that is close. That is very close for comfort.
Whoa. And Ethan Hamlin's going to just peel away from Luke Patrick, who almost looks caught a little off guard as they get into turn number 1. Benjamin O'Shea and Gian Cardoso still working it out through the second corner there, but he's going to hold on to fourth for Gian Cardoso. But Jaden Ledbetter going to try to get these cars all sorted out. They fan out 2-3 wide. Luke Patrick having to go defensive against Benjamin O'Shea real early in that GT or LMP3 field. Tanner Schiffner, I think, is going to lead off GT3 pretty well.
Gets away pretty clean, and then we've got looks like Steve McLean, Tommy Cogan, Gab Chavez all side by side as we're getting ready to go into turn 3. Gab Chavez making a move. We're going to see what it looks like going into turn number 3. Looking okay so far.
Yeah, we are indeed. Top down to GT4 Pro and Am. They single file pretty quickly off of that start line. Kari Lobner almost running into Scott Fleming. And Scott Fleming having a fantastic run into turn number 3. We just talked about it for GT3. As the rest of this field piles down in. Adrian Marizak, I think, going to make a look here on the inside. Drew Friedman, they're going to take it too wide, which is going to cost them a little bit of time there. But they get it all sorted out pretty quickly. Meatball flag for Alex Velasco. Pretty quickly. I wonder what happened there. I don't even have a...
I mean, if he tapped the wall in any capacity, he's probably going to break the suspension on that car, 100%. But everything looking clean so far, what I can tell.
Wow, okay. Very good. He's going to be in this lap to get that car fixed. 2-second gap as Luke Patrick has to continue to defend from Benjamin O'Shea, as well as the other drivers in the top 5. Logan Branson labeled as having a crash alongside Sean Sullivan. Both those drivers jumping to the pits. Let's find out what happened here. Andrew Seelig, whole host of crashes here happening. Let's see what happened as we get into this. Cameron Robertson also
the one to
labeled.
watch is go back and watch Cameron Robertson's crash.
It
was pretty brutal.
Oh.
I don't know what happened here.
That's what happened to
Logan
those two.
The
And then Sean Sullivan, both of them, thankfully pretty quickly, which keeps it from becoming a bigger issue. We saw a bunch of other drivers have incidents amongst all that. Cameron Robertson labeled as crash. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it was just such a hard shot into the wall, and I'm pretty sure that front right is busted.
I would have to imagine.
You can see him. Yeah, he slams on the brakes.
It just slides.
Loops it and gets it to the pits quickly. Again, this is a circuit that's going to be brutal. And right now, from what I can tell, I'm not seeing a lot of people that have kind of like made mistakes or anything like that in terms of like pushing things too aggressively side by side into corners and stuff. We're just talking about people losing it, and then the cars behind not having enough time to react. Again, this is a very brutal street circuit.
It certainly is. Ethan Hamlet setting the fastest lap and getting 2-second gap to the rest of the drivers behind him. The rest of that field splitting up pretty quickly. Oh, Benjamin O'Shea having such the briefest of moments, catches it before it becomes an issue. Yeah, you just see the drivers. I think all the incidents we've seen so far have been the occasional driver just going a step too far. As we get going, John Newman, he stopped. What happened to him real quick? I wonder if it's self-spin. Drew Friedman right in front of him. Adrian Marozak right behind. I'm curious if this is too much power on exit. And it looks like it.
Corner exit and just loops the car again. This is the bumpy nature that I was talking about of the track. It's just one of those that like you kind of have to be like very gentle with the car on corner entry, corner exit with respect to not only braking inputs but also with like where you plan to apply the throttle. And we've got GT3s just absolutely mobbing some GT4 traffic right now.
GT3s getting intermixed with GT4s that have had issues, taken the fast repair, gotten back out on track. Sean Sullivan as well as Logan Branson, both those drivers getting themselves sorted, but that's going to cost Christopher Blue a little bit of time as they get their way through it. No good opportunity to pass for GT4s until you get into this backstretch, or what would be, I think, the closest thing we can have to a backstretch on this track. And that's going to see Kyle Potter play the over-under game with Logan Branson going into turn number 7.
Yeah. I imagine for the GT3 drivers, it's incredibly frustrating to be stuck behind GT4 traffic. But the thing you have to remember is that they're going to follow their racing line because they're trying to be predictable.
Yeah.
And the thing that is going to be the most easy to understand is like, where's the car going to go when it's trying to move at its optimum? It's not like they're blocking you. They're just trying not to surprise you by just saying, oh, I'm just going to throw the anchor on corner exit and hope you just know to go around.
Andrew Mathias having an issue here.
Yep, we're going to see if he can get that car either spun around or to the pits.
What happened? Just snap of oversteer.
Now, with the amount of front end damage that he probably just took, I'm kind of curious if he's going to take it to the pits or not. Oh, we've got LMP3s now intermixing, so it's going to be very interesting right now. And he does manage to get it to the pits. Yeah.
Let's keep an eye. I want to take a ride along here. Let's ride along with Jaden Ledbetter. I want to talk about, you talked about briefly, looking at multi-class traffic from the aspect of the LMP3 drivers that are just, that's Jaden Ledbetter has a moment there. We'll have to see.
He might have snuck off with just a little.
He got away with it. It looks like it because the wheel doesn't look like he's holding it any differently than he was earlier. And this is what. Oh man. Let's see.
This is what we're talking about now. They have to the end of this straight to get around the 57. Because when they get locked in on the exit of turn 3, it is going to. You're going to be on track that fits 2 cars side by side under normal circumstances. But now let's throw in, greater than 90-degree corners and curbing and bounces, and it gets pretty interesting. And he's just going to try and use the space that was created, try and sneak through, manages to do it just fine. Now he's got to move as fast as he can because he's got to clear this other GT4 before he gets to corner exit. I don't know if it's going to happen. GT4 is on the brakes.
No, but
he decides better of it.
Nathaniel Baker almost wants to capitalize on it. He backs out of it. You saw in the mirror there above the main windscreen.
Ooh, he's thinking he can fit his car in there. I don't know if that's something you can do.
We got through it. Everybody got through it. So far, so good.
Chris Turner's asking if Stephen McLean is dead, and I believe so. He's all the way back now. Man, he's back.
Yeah.
I want to say, is that below the 10th in GT3 now?
Yeah,
so
I'm trying to figure out what
significant
happened
fall
to
off.
him. McLean, I don't see Stephen McLean having an issue though. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
The thing that we noticed is that like it wasn't necessarily the case that we were seeing a lot of the accident indicators. We also had some folks that started from the pits, so I'm also kind of curious.
I think it was Stephen McLean. I think it was a different driver. Taking a look back, a little further back, these 2 drivers battling for position for a brief moment there. Alan Love getting passed by Garrett Hillman. And battles in class largely broken up pretty seriously as a result of multi-class traffic. But they kind of come back to one another. Corey Laubner getting around, or excuse me, not getting around, still staying ahead of Tim Mello, who started in 4th.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky part of the track they're running into. Again, it just narrows so quickly in spots, and it just makes it very difficult, especially for these LMP3 machines, because off the racing line is particularly dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they do have more aerodynamic downforce, but these are also not a lot of medium and high speed corners. So that downforce is not necessarily going to give them a lot of help. And the traction control system is a myth. I don't think there's lights on the dash. There's supposed settings that you can adjust, but as far as I know, the traction control system in the LMP3 is there for the memes. So
It's better to make you feel good about yourself. It doesn't, I think, have a whole lot of actual assistance.
Yeah. I mean, it does assist. It assists in some really cool sound effects when you when it accidentally breaks loose, and it sounds like a turkey has been unleashed in the engine compartment. But that said, LMP3 seem to be moving through the traffic pretty okay. Again, we still got a good chunk of the field still in play here. We've only got a few retirements so far. But yeah. In fact, we only have, I believe, one retirement so far. I believe Matt Pyle's the retirement.
Yeah. I don't think he started, and that's why I'm trying to think if he was the one that I thought we saw have an issue as well. I'm trying to figure out what happened to Stephen McLean. Okay, here's where he enters pit lane. I wonder if we can see something on this car. Oh, I wonder if he didn't refuel the car. This would have been lap 2, lap 3, maybe.
Oh, if he joined with like quali fuel.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
That could be it.
Because
that could be it.
No damage on it, so I was trying to figure out what happened there. That I could see.
Chris Turner joining us. I think he's taking a vacation this week. Chris, is that what's going down here? Is that why you're not on track?
Yeah, I'm curious if that's the case.
Oh, you don't own
Yeah,
Detroit?
right.
Well, yeah, that's a very convenient excuse.
Yeah, for those of you who are just catching in, 39 car field, 38 of which still on track.
Yeah, we're about halfway through. The field is spreading out. This is very typical for difficult tracks, especially with short lap times. So we've got closest fight we've got going in LMP3 right now is Nathaniel Baker. And is that Herbert Pineda or
Jaden Ledbetter?
Oh, no, excuse me, Jaden Ledbetter. And then we've got GT3 field. The quali times were really tight, but we have since seen the GT3 field start to spread out a little bit. Tommy Cogan currently trying to chase down Gab Chavez. These two are very familiar with each other on the tarmac. And then we've got some racing between Robert Lewis and Christopher Blue back in 8-9. Although Steve McLean looks like he is.
He had a moment.
Did he now?
Yeah, let's see here.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah. What happened here?
That's what I'm about to find out. Cameron Robertson also labeled as having a moment as well. Oh, he makes the look. Has to. Oh, bumps into John Newman. Oh, good heads-up driving by Robert Lewis and Stephen McLean.
Robert Lewis threads the needle. Beltan has his head on a swivel, ladies and gentlemen.
Just the ripcord.
I can just imagine the pucker moment that Beltan just went through.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, Gab Chavez around?
Yeah, looks like it amongst all that.
Let's see what happened. Let's see what happened there.
Yeah. Oh, multi-class traffic. Too much gas. That is a little too much. Well, Kerbin got him.
Yep.
I want to show this from the onboard because you'll see it the moment he gets onto that curbing. Let's see if I can hit the slow down at the right moment. Coming through here, and then just the bump. There it is, and that's all it takes. And that car is.
It is so. That is the thing about Belle Isle, man. It is so unforgiving of a circuit, and you start to get, you go lap after lap around here. Maybe you've been able to dodge some shenanigans and things like that, and you start to get kind of confident. You're like, okay, I'm going to start to try to push. You get into certain situations, like maybe you're dealing with GT4 traffic, and you're like, if I can just get a little bit closer on corner exit, and then you position the car incorrectly, you just add a little too much steering input with a dab of the brakes or a lift off, and then suddenly you hit a bump, and the car spins around. That's it.
It doesn't help that these cars do not have much in terms of suspension.
Yeah.
Because
it is very much, yeah.
You have cars that have a little bit more play and give to them, like TCRs or some of the older, more vintage machines, and they'd be a little bit, I think, kinder than the GT3s or the LMP3s would be. Maybe the GT4s, you could maybe get away with it, depending on which GT4 you're in.
Yeah. But even then, it's like, especially towards the later part of the lap, especially in the fountain section, those curbs are very tall. Like you are putting the car at more than a 15-degree angle, and reducing the contact patch on your outside tire. It makes it very tricky to maintain grip and to make the car predictable. And wow, just absolute heads up driving from Robert Lewis, who is trying his best to just take his time around these GT4s, and Stephen McLean and Christopher Blue both kind of like following as Robert Lewis is just trying to carve his way through the field.
Yeah, you can see how spread out pretty much all of the packs of cars are. Every class, it's kind of taken over a quadrant up to like a sector of this course at this point.
Yeah.
And this battle here in GT3, really the biggest one on track for the moment. I think we have a couple more further up. Austin Green trying to get ahead of Joseph Militi.
Austin Green trying to pull away in the BMW. Joey Militi, one of the few Corvettes in the field. I think it's him and Christopher Blue.
Yes.
And Joey right now currently sitting in P5. Would be a good setup for the feature race for Austin and Joey if they finish in this order.
Nathaniel Baker joining those that have been labeled as crashed.
Nathaniel Baker, let's see what happened here. Is it a Tony Hawk moment?
Late into the braking zone, just too much rotation. Oh my God. Kept it
out
out
of
the wall.
Kept it out of the wall, but now he's like kind of stuck.
He's
got to try and see if he can. Oh man, he is so.
Gets away with it.
So
Ethan Hamlet labeled as crashed amongst all this.
What happened here?
Wait, where?
Ethan Hamburger is disappeared.
Ethan Hamlet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just gone.
Yeah, he's just gone.
He just disappeared.
Oh. Yeah, his car just absolutely vanished.
It is just MIA. Ethan Hamburger or Ethan Hamlet. I have to go back in and change that. Thanks, Ethan Hamlet. I know why you did this, but thank you. I deeply appreciate it.
Yeah. That is crazy. So Ethan Hamlet just disappears into the shadow realm. Unfortunate. Kyle Potter here, currently lapping P6. Looks like he's catching up to Robert Lewis. Robert Lewis was Robert Lewis in the pits?
He just started further back.
Oh, no, I see it now. That is a massive crash in the background.
Oh, that's a Benjamin O'Shea who is spun around. Keeps it off the track, like out of the wall. Let's take a look back at this. We saw the tail end of that. We saw the smoke, but let's find out what happened with that smoke. Looking to make the pass on Gab. Oh, just bumps that curbing. Oh, never mind. He would not keep it out of the wall first time around.
Yeah, that right there, corner exit is very bumpy out of turn 2, and it is exactly what we expected. And
what
he's
is,
just gonna
what is happening here?
It. I don't know.
Just gonna reverse it. Okay.
This right here is we're just gonna keep going.
Okay. All right.
There he goes.
All right. Our trackside reporter Chris Turner telling us Cameron Robertson, Austin Powers in the runoff. Yep, that'll be Austin Powers in the runoff. Oh, crunches. Well,
Just a little touch. Just a little touch. Oh,
Oh,
no.
no.
And there goes the wing. There goes the wing.
Oh,
Oh, man.
oh man, that's gonna be
Unfortunate. And that's after Cameron Robertson just absolutely was yeeted into turn 2.
demolished into turn 2. Gets the car back out. Oh.
Can we, sir, take a peek at this Tim Mello as he's
Tim
chasing down
Mello.
Corey Lawler?
Oh,
we have not seen much of this. And Kyle Potter is on the scene.
Yep.
And he is really trying to figure out how he's going to get around these two who are fighting for position.
He's just gonna have to wait. He's gonna have to be patient. Take his opportunity here. Oh, I wonder if that was how big of a touch that was. Tim Mello really getting some good runs here to get himself back into a fight with Corey Lobner.
If I had to take a guess, I'm wondering if Luke Patrick is on the final lap or not. We are definitely inside the last minute.
Based on where they're at on track, I would imagine they'll be starting the final lap soon because I think they're right behind this battle for position. The leader is. So that's a slow-ish. Scott Fleming just up the road. You can hear the LMP3 in the background.
That was a touch.
Yeah, I wonder how much of a touch it was on our machine. But there's Luke Patrick. So speaking of final laps, we'll see the white flag come out this time by. You can see it out of Barney the Flagman on the top of that stand there.
Luke Patrick gonna finish out this final lap here. Although actually it's marking him as finished. He hit it right on the nose.
Oh, okay.
Luke Patrick going to take it with Gian Cardoso and Jaden Ledbetter. Gian Cardoso with a P2 finish.
Fantastic stuff out of Gian Cardoso there, as well as Herbert Pineda coming home in 4th on the debut run for him in the heat race. Let's see if that exists, that consistency exists in the feature there. The rest of the field piling down in there. Tanner Schiffner, I think, going to be trying to lead that. Ethan Paget lost drop. That's what I was wondering. Given the way that he just kind of disappeared off the road. Clean-headed.
So Tanner Schiffner is going to come across the line. Then we got Tommy Cogan, Anthony Newman, and then Joey Meliti manages to pip Austin Green for 4th spot, and Austin Green is not going to go quietly into that good night.
Yes, there's Tanner Schiffner. Take a look back at this battle that you were talking about. See if Austin Green has the response in the final couple corners here before the start-finish line.
There's a touch on the wall.
Oh, Austin's thinking about it, but I don't think he's going to have the opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it.
Yep.
Good race from them. And then we've got Kyle Potter.
Up to 6th.
Robert Lewis, Steve McLean, Christopher Blue around top 9. Jake Hewitt's going to take the race win in GT4 with Scott Fleming in 2nd, Corey Lobner in 3rd.
Yeah, Corey Lobner and Tim Mello getting passed by Luke Patrick to have their final lap be a lap behind those two drivers who do get to finish out their race in the duel they had for the lead. 7 seconds between them. Let's go.
So I'm going to say something.
Yeah.
Hot take. Mm-hmm. That was a very calm heat race.
Uh-huh.
Very calm. Very calm. Okay. I think it was a hot. I mean, you take into consideration what Long Beach and Laguna was like.
Yes.
And that was a very calm heat race, which only makes me kind of like break into a little bit of a sweat now that we're getting ready for the feature.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit interesting. We'll have to see. I'm curious if we got all of it saved or all of it unsaved for this feature race here. Right. I also forgot McLean had a drive-through penalty from Laguna's pace lap. That's why he had that pit stop, or that drive through pit lane early on that we saw.
Even then, that's a pretty good recovery, given that we start with the. I think we had more than 10 in the GT3 field, and getting back up to right behind Robert Lewis was a pretty good effort.
Absolutely, a very consistent one. We'll have to see how much further he can get up the order. Results from the heat race. Luke Patrick going to come home the winner there after Paget lost. It kicks Ethan Hamlet back down to the bottom of the order. Gian Cardoso going to be in 2nd there, so a fantastic podium spot for him, as well as Jaden Ledbetter, who comes home in 3rd. Nathaniel Baker Benjamin O'Shea, Alex Velasco, Ethan Hamlet going to be the 7 drivers for LMP3 Pro, LMP3 AM. Phil?
Herbert Pineda Sr.
So good.
On debut, with a 7-second lead on Jake Fulton. Garrett Hillman's going to finish 3rd with Alan Love in 4th, Cameron Robertson in 5th. So Alan Love, Cameron Robertson 4th and 5th. Herbert Pineda moving into LMP3, gonna rob them of a little bit of points from this heat race. They're going to want to try and see what they can do to maximize their points total into this feature race, because Alan Love, Cameron Robertson, 2 of the big points winners so far in the last 2 weeks here at Sports Car Series.
Absolutely. Most really consistent drive up until this point. I wonder if this is just maybe not a track that Cameron Robertson has as much experience on at this point. We'll have to see how the feature treats all of them. GT3, Tanner Schiffner going to come home the winner there alongside Tommy Kogan, who comes home a few seconds behind. Anthony Newman in 3rd there with Joseph Melidi as well as Austin Green rounding out that top 5. Those 2 drivers not wanting to bring that fight to an end. So a great drive out of Joey there as well. Kyle Potter up to 6th, another driver who had had to start basically in the back of the grid as well due to a quality ban. We'll see himself up into 6th as a result. Robert Lewis in 7th. Steve McLean is going to be in 8th. So fantastic drives from the back of the grid for both of those drivers. With Christopher Blue, Gab Chavez rounding out the top 10. And then we have Andrew Mathias and Matt Pyle, which Matt Pyle has said internet issues as well as lack of preparation. We'll see him not take to the grid for the feature as well. He didn't take to the start of the heat race. So that is the 12 drivers in GT3. Tanner Schiffner, I think, sitting 3rd in the points right now, and is going to be, I think, adding some points there to make it a very busy GM championship round going into the back half of the season. We'll go through GT4 Pro and AM real quick because we're about to be gridding for our feature race. So Jake Hewitt, Scott Fleming, Corey Lobner, Tim Mello, Colin Johnson, and Levi Powell. Any big things here?
No, I mean, the battle between Tim Mello and Corey Lobner, I'm kind of interested to see how this works out in the feature race.
I think so. I'm curious to see if Tim Mello can keep up the pace that he was finding in the back half of that to be at the head. And we'll see where that goes. I want to see also from GT4 AM, we saw Drew Freeman take home the win there. Andrew Seelig and David Schneider going to be the top 3 there. Adrian Marozak, William Lewis in a heated battle for 4th and 5th there. Sean Harvey, Sean Sullivan, Logan Branson, and John Newman, the 9 drivers there. So I get the feeling, I'm curious to see how far Sean Sullivan and Logan Branson can work their way back up the order. They started 1st and 2nd, and I get the feeling they have the opportunity to kind of reclaim the positions they had lost and get back up the order, get some more good points for the feature race here in just a little while.
Yep.
Thoughts?
Yep. I'm just getting set up because we are got most of the people on the grid, and going to be a short lap around to finish out this formation lap. It's going to be very interesting with Ethan Hamlet. So Ethan Hamlet's going to be at the back of the group. Kind of interested to see how they're going to filter through for the formation because they've got a shorter time span to get there.
We saw a couple do it that didn't qualify or get qualifying times, and we'll probably see Ethan Hamlet do the same thing where he just kind of drives up to the back of the end of the grid and will rejoin at the tail end of the LMP3 grid like we saw for Alex Velasco as well as Cameron Robertson, which are, so all those drivers, all those MP3 drivers are going to probably pop out of where they are in the starting order and then work their way up from there to join the top row of the grid.
We're going to get ready to go here in a moment for round number 5 of the Sports Car Series at Belle Isle. Bumpy Isle.
Very bumpy.
The Isle of Undulation.
I feel like it gives it a very different connotation, but
yes. Well, I mean, all I'm going to say is corner entry, corner exit is a bit of a sine wave. So
that's very true.
We're gonna see how people can handle this for 70 minutes.
How is Herbert Pineda in the AM grid for LMP3 2800 I rating? Just wondering. I believe that's out of pace and consistency that he has shown in GT3. So that may change it back into pro depending on how much pace he shows here.
Yep.
Given where he was running in the GT3 grid,
Yep.
that's where they, I think, moved him to for the sake of things. And given the way tonight's race has gone, he wasn't far ahead of Jake Fulton, who is the other LMP3 AM podium sitter in the heat.
Yeah, it's going to be... getting ready to...
We'll see the safety car peel in just a corner's time, or really once they get down the straight and into the bend, the 14 and final corner, which is really a kink towards the start-finish line. See where these drivers choose to pull the trigger, and Luke is going to pull it right alongside and back at the end of that one before the start-finish line. And they single file very quickly for the GT or LMP3 field as a whole. All the tail end of that, Alex Velasco, Ethan Hamlet trying to peel through this LMP3 M field pretty quickly.
Painter Schiffner's pulling the trigger.
Oh. Slower run through the first couple corners. Stephen McLean already hounding Kyle Potter there. And we get to Jake Hewitt.
Yep, he gets a good launch. Corey Lobner actually gets a pretty decent launch relative to Scott Fleming.
Oh, yeah, but he's going to be on the outside of turn number 1. He's going to button it in right in between him and Tim Mello. We're going to see a couple other drivers go too wide. Colin Johnson fending off Drew Friedman there in the opening corners, with David Schneider trying to get behind Colin Johnson to end up having a bit of a good run into the position. But Drew Friedman's going to lean on the door and force it too wide, keeps the space, allows Colin Johnson, and then will end up picking up that position as a result. Ethan Hamlet finds himself still further back.
Well, he's making some progress.
Yeah, Alan Love going to let him through. I think he's going to actually also let Alex Velasco through. Not quite as intentionally, but as we get through lap number 1, only a minute 30. So fast laps here. Really even faster than that. Minute 22, 23, 24 for these fastest classes. Minute 30s for the slower classes. So easily onto the second lap after we get through all of the class starts. Herbert Pineda just, I think, being a little bit of a menace to Jaden Ledbetter here in the opening stages. I get the feeling he may not stay in LMP3 AM too long.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I will say is that if you look relative to the first 4 rounds, we've had a good mixture between LMP3 AM and LMP3 Pro. I mean, Gian Cardoso has finished consistently behind Paul Miles in a few races. I think a lot of that has to do with like on-track incidents and stuff like that. Managed to finish second in heat race, so.
Consistency
it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, is going to be a big one there. I think we have a couple of drivers, and Andrew Seelig, David Schneider diving into pit lane.
Could be some damage.
Yeah, one of them has a meatball flag, so I think we'll be. Oh, Garrett Hillman, I think, really bouncing off the barrier there. And then, so looking at this battle further back, Joseph Meliti, Austin Green had swapped places once, but swap back, and Kyle Potter letting him know that he wants to hang out. As Gian Cardoso gets a faster second lap in for a moment, then Ethan Hamlet says, no, I want the fastest lap. So in the LMP3 category, and Stephen McLean, Austin Green really catching that car. Was there contact there? Hold on.
There might have been at least a touch.
Yeah, I want to see if I can.
We got some GT4 traffic filtering out of the pit
No,
lane.
that's just a good old-fashioned little bit of oversteer snap. Catches it before it becomes a problem. And he's going to take it through pit lane. I wonder.
Austin Green also going in the pits.
Yeah, so I'm curious what happened there that causes him to go into pit lane. So very active around at the end. But it does indeed. We'll have to see how that settles down for that car and that driver over the course of this. GT3. Luke Patrick labeled as crash. We just saw that.
Yep.
Does
and that is going to make Dean Cardoso lead of the race.
Yeah, what happens here for Luke Patrick? Is he just overcook this second corner Yeah, just a little bit. No, too much. And then slides, bounces off the wall there. Not too dangerously. Able to keep that car going in the right direction, but he's going to lose a bit of time there. Jake Fulton also having a crash out of the lead. Or, sorry, out of, what would it be? I think it's P8 of overall LMP3. Similar space, just too much rotation. Sees himself slide back down to the tail end of that. Dave Schneider in that LMP or GT4 AM car, working his way back out onto the track. Stephen McLean now trying to keep ahead of Kyle Potter. Finds himself at the top end of this one.
Dare I say it's been a very calm first few laps?
You say this now, but I'm not sure it'll stay.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of close battles on track. The battle between Robert Lewis and Kyle Potter, Gab Chavez in the mix as well. And then Ethan Hamlet is cutting through the field. He's already passed Cameron Robertson, and now it finds its way around Garrett Hillman.
I'd have to imagine Garrett Hillman looking a little bit like he's having a bit of a rougher start to that race in that LMP3 category car. These two, Corey Lobner, Scott Fleming, still in a battle as well. I'm kind of keeping an eye on the top 5 here, all within a few seconds of each other in GT4, excuse me.
So is this a good time to pop up that old track map, show everybody how the cars are bunched around this field? Another thing to mention, too, is that we do have 50% fuel capacity for all cars in this event. So we will be seeing some pit stops throughout the race. 2-stoppers probably going to be the more common option that people take, but I'm really interested to see if we're going to have anyone willing to risk it for a 1-stop strategy, try and save themselves effectively a 30-second pit lane travel.
And I get the feeling it's very possible that some will try to do it. Maybe Ethan Hamlet, especially given where he started in the field, the opportunity to save 30 seconds there if he can do the fuel numbers elsewhere in that race to do so. But with all these drivers peeling through GT4 traffic for the first time tonight, 2-stop for the GT3 unless you can save 6 laps of fuel. I think that'd be a little bit of a stretch for the GT3 drivers. Maybe doable if you really pushed it. Oh, Luke Patrick gonna end up sticking ahead for the moment, but Benjamin O'Shea right on the tail. Ethan Hamlet not far behind either.
So my question for Chris Turner is if it's 6 laps of fuel, is that just enough to save 3 and 3 on 2 stints? Because I mean, that seems a lot more possible if you're just doing enough to save 3 and 3.
Oh, Herbert Pineda playing the defensive line. Luke Patrick gonna bump.
They're touching. They are touching.
A little bit of content. Benjamin O'Shea trying to find his way around without getting involved. Herbert Pineda pushing into that corner. Gonna tap alongside Sean Sullivan, who's trying to take the racing line. And then Luke Patrick's gonna look for that over-under to get a good exit. And Benjamin O'Shea is right beside him. Right behind him, I should say. Keeping an eye on this.
Go ahead.
I was like, keep an eye on this battle. I'll hop up just a little bit. The gap ebbs and flows between Jane Ledbetter and Nathaniel Baker. These two fighting earlier. And Gian Cardoso also within a second. And this really spreads out some of the GT4 battles. As Ken Robertson finds himself around Kidza going again, though, without too much issue.
Traffic management around this track is extremely difficult, but I just, I know we're 6 laps in, but I do want to give everyone a shout out because I do feel like that everybody has been kind of like really doing a better job of managing traffic and being patient this race. Now, I do see Dave Schneider's crash and jump to pits on that, so Dave Schneider can definitely drop a sternly worded letter in my mailbox for the broadcaster curse. I appreciate that.
I think that happened technically before you said something. To be fair, let's see what happened to Dave Schneider here. He'd already had an incident earlier. Oh, just a little too hot into the corner.
Oh, and that's a huge
crunch
on the front left.
Yeah, it's gonna be a meatball flag for certain. Ethan Hamlet pushing and taking advantage of the opportunity. Benjamin O'Shea a little wide in those past couple corners. Picks up the spot. Says thank you. I'm gonna keep working my way forward.
Yeah, Ethan Hamlet last lap was a 27:09, but has a personal best of a 24:67. Definitely quick on track, and Cameron Robertson in the wall again, and this time it's the rear left, and I believe that's a meatball flag for Cameron.
Yeah, it certainly is.
So
he's got pretty roughed up suspension on that left-hand side from the first incident, and then I think he's gonna probably. I think my hope is that he pulls it in, because it'd be dangerous not to.
And this might be a good opportunity to take that fast repair, not switch your tires, throw some fuel in, and then get back out there and try and see if you can maximize that stop. And try and eke out some value here.
Oh, man. All right. I'm going to take a look back a little bit further. Robert Lewis, Gab Chavez. In a pretty heated battle. A McLaren v. McLaren fight. Oh, this is going to be a good exit out of for Gab Chavez. He's going to have to make the look on the inside as they come down towards turn number 3.
Brakes. Going to have Robert in this corner. Robert Lewis definitely not going to just get out of his way and let him have it, so.
Certainly not, but Gab Chavez says, I have no mind. I'm just going to keep doing my thing.
Yeah. Gab Chavez does have some pretty solid pace right now. Fastest lap overall is a 28.8. Personal best. I mean, that's 0.8 on Tanner Schiffner, but
he's
relative to the rest of the field. I mean, again, we were talking about this during the free practicing, then going into qualifying. You take a look at the best laps in GT3 up and down, and we're talking 0.8 between the GT3 field in terms of fastest. Andrew Seelig marked his crash jumps to the pits. Nathaniel Baker and Benjamin O'Shea.
See what happened to Nathaniel Baker first. Then we'll hop over to Benjamin O'Shea. We'll round it out with Andrew Seelig. Whoa, has a contact somewhere before there.
I think he's got something going on.
Oh, wait. Let's look at Andrew Seelig's, because I think that might be what happened. That involves Nathaniel Baker. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
So there's that incident. Bounces, hits. Oh, just a huge shunt from Nathaniel Baker.
Yeah, I think that was just unfortunate because
Herbert
that
Pineda
bump through Andrew Seelig into a weird angle, and Daniel Baker just had nowhere to go.
Nope, nowhere to go, nowhere to be. Benjamin O'Shea labeled as crash amongst all this as well. Locks up the brakes, bounces off of that. Oh, catches it. I don't think it cost him damage. Gets it going again.
Yeah, I think he just narrowly missed out on some damage, but then immediately just gives the wall a nice scrub.
Yeah, a little bit of one. Garrett Hillman labeled as crashed amongst all this. Still driving, so it must not have been too serious. Probably a missed opportunity or missed a corner. I'll take a look here. If I got the opportunity. Nope, that's not Garrett Hillman. There we go. That's Garrett Hillman. Yeah, we saw this
in the fountain section.
Yeah, saw the slide out of Luke Patrick a couple laps ago. Oh, just locks it up, trying to get the corner rotation.
Yep, and once that front left is locked up, like it's just you're just going straight to the wall. Like there's just no opportunity. Andrew Newman is absolutely catching Tommy Kogan, and here we go, getting ready to go into turn 3. It's going to get spicy.
It certainly is.
And look at how narrow it is in this section. Like I was saying, 3, 4, 5 going into 6 is just
It technically
what I love.
can be too
Yeah,
wide, but like
yeah,
it definitely isn't if you're trying to take the racing line.
correct.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, no, I was just gonna say this particular part of the street circuit, I think is incredibly challenging, and it kind of gives me a little bit of like Adelaide vibes.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, that's slammed in
oh
the braking
wow,
zone.
that is some closing speed.
I think he's trying to keep up with Tommy Kogan and not lose touch in this battle for the podium spots.
It's gonna have to maximize.
And they both caught Tanner Schiffner pretty well as well. That's at BMW just ahead of Tommy Kogan.
Yeah, Tanner Schiffner is not having an opportunity to run off into the sunset this time. And race leader Gian Cardoso, after 11 laps, is currently a half second ahead of Jaden Ledbetter.
We'll hop up with Tommy Kogan. It's this battle for the GT3 lead. 2 tenths away from each other as well. No opportunity, no look there. Just so much straight line speed out of that BMW.
Yep. And I did want to do a quick check-in on our own version of the King of Chicago, Gab Chavez in the 88, currently in 7th, 3 seconds back from Kyle Potter, but continuing to close the gap after having a start at the back of the GT3 grid. Ethan Hamlin also, man, last lap was a 23.7, although Luke Patrick just set a 23.738 for the fastest lap.
Yep.
Pretty crazy. People are starting to really pump out some times.
This battle for the podium well and truly heating up. Tanner Schiffner.
Luke Patrick marked as crashed again.
Oh, what happens here?
Ethan's catching him.
There's the look late into that braking zone. Tries to...
Oh, the front left locks up, but
Yep.
he manages to keep it out of the wall.
Yes.
And then immediately throws it into reverse and gets it back out on track. Very, very quick thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that bump though I think he's gonna get away with that one. Look at that. Look at how everybody's like bundled together on the back end of the track.
Yeah.
Right now. And then there's the number 10.
Yeah.
Like just off on their
Alan
own.
Love, off on his
Alan
own,
Love.
having a solid race in 10th.
Yep. In 10th. In the 95. Just doing his own
Anthony,
thing.
and while we looked away for just the right moment, Anthony Newman got a steal P2 out of from Tommy Kogan into the braking zone. Doesn't wait.
What an absolute dive.
Just gives 0 quarter.
That is...
Keeps it open. Jake Hewitt is sitting here off on the side saying, I'm just trying to keep the 5-second gap. I've got Scott Fleming and the rest of the GT4 field. You guys go do what you want to.
Man, the entry angle into turn 3, incredible stuff.
Yeah, Luke Patrick going to slide into pit lane, get probably some fresh tires, be my guess. We are, depends on how he wants to do that first and second pit stop.
Yep. Herbert Pineda Sr. is catching Jaden right now. 3/10 between Jaden and Herbert Pineda. Jaden getting hounded right now, and Herbert Pineda catches a little too much curb and almost loses the back end.
Thankfully doesn't. Tanner Schiffner resetting the fastest lap of GT3's pace, the 128.009. You see Herbert Pineda looking for more pace here, trying to stay on the LMP3 overall podium. Still the lead of LMP3 AM. Oh, there's the look, the opportunity there. Austin Green. Dave Schneider ahead of all of them. Herbert Pineda makes a look into the kink, slips on through.
And now Ethan Hamlet is locked in. Herbert Pineda Sr. is going to have a fight on his hands. We got some GT4 traffic cycling back out. Austin Green taking a cute angle through turn 2, but everybody seems to get through it okay.
Yeah, for the moment, we're all moving the right direction.
Yep. T4s are going to start impacting this battle. Ethan's just going to take it easy.
Dave Schneider, bad day, doesn't get worse. Seeing what else is happening on track. Robert Lewis trying to keep up the pace, getting passed by Cameron Robertson, Joseph Melody, Stephen McLean, Kyle Potter, all finding themselves within a close battle.
Joey Melody right now in fourth in the 239 machine. 7 seconds back from Tommy Kogan, losing ground. But managing to hang on to P4 right now and keeping pace relative to Steve McLean. Going okay. What is about to happen here to Dave? This poor guy. He's been through the blender today. Oh, he just catches the wall and then flips. Yeah, he just hit the wall so solidly that it just bounced him straight back into the racing line. And that was a perfect shot, too. Like, he just bounced straight back. Unfortunate for him. Not much he could really do about it.
Yeah, Logan Branson caught out amongst all this as well. A busy set of incidents there.
Yep.
Sean Harvey catching himself out there as well.
Cameron Robertson crashes, jumps pits. Logan Branson crashed. John Newman. Logan Branson jumps to pit. That is just unfortunate.
Oh, what happened? This is the same incident.
That is.
Oh my God, that looks like some hardware failure.
That is crazy. Man. Manages to touch the rear end of Robert Lewis.
Okay, this is the same one.
And that's that same accident.
Yep.
And
that's where John Newman labeled his crash amongst this because of this incident right here. And then that's where Logan Branson jumps the pits. And Sean Harvey.
Unfortunate.
Separate of the first incident, what happens here?
Back out on track. Everything looks okay.
See what happens if there's maybe an issue here in the second corner. No, this is where he tries to not run into John Newman.
Gotcha. A little bit of calamity in the fountain section, but we're back. We're back to racing. And
Steve McLean is going to be trying to do an over-under. Well, sorry, over-under out of Joseph Melody. And they're going to run too wide through turn number 4. Kyle Potter seeing he can't pick up the pieces here amongst all this battle. Three-way fight for what is the step just beyond the podium.
Playing the Ace Motorsport. Starting to pull away. Kyle Potter in the background, going to try and see if he can get a little closer to the gearbox on Joey Melody.
And then Herbert Pineda, I think Jaden Ledbetter.
Yeah. I think the gap to Ethan Hamlet has grown a little bit. Now it's about 2 seconds. I suspect we've got some traffic management not really going anyone's way right now. Jaden got a battle on his hands here with Herbert Pineda Sr. They go into the final sector. Joey Melody battling back on Steve McLean. That is now down to less than 3/10. Kyle Potter's right there too. He's like, this is really close between these three right now.
That it certainly is.
Yep. Wanted to take a look at GT4. Only thing going on in GT4 right now is Corey Lobner.
Tim Mello has gotten around.
Yeah.
Earlier on. Now Corey Lobner is trying to take the fight back to him. It's a pretty fun drive there. Not ridden on a Mustang GT4, I think, yet this season. That I can think of. I'm sure we have that beyond my recollections.
Yeah. Look at that massive bump coming out of turn 2. It is it's tough. It is a tough track. We do have William Lewis in the pits. A little early, but maybe he's going for one short and one long stint. And that is a huge, I mean, he about did a kickflip.
Almost. All three of the LMP3 podium positions within half a second of each other, and about less than a second between the three of them from front to back.
I think Gian must have got caught up in some traffic.
I think
his
so.
last lap was a 25.3, and Jaden was a 26.2. And now he finds himself in a three-way fight for the lead of this race. And there is a massive slipstream as they get ready to go into turn 1 here. And you can see Herbert Pineda Sr. fighting the understeer on the car. And Ethan Hamlet there in the background, just waiting. Taking a look at last lap times, Ethan Hamlet with a 23.74, which is big fast in comparison to the podium setters right now. So this fight for LMP3 is really hot right now.
Yeah, well and truly on. You can see multi-class traffic, I think, really bogging down the top three in some degree or another by about half a second between all three of them. That's how you see them all back into the fight with each other. And then Ethan Hamlet just closing the distance, getting the better end of multi-class traffic that most recent time by. They're still only just now, I think, working their way up to the big gaggle of GT3 cars that are interspersed, and some of them still battling for position here. Tommy Cogan still trying to find his way around Anthony Newman. Those two in a fight that hasn't changed. I don't think it'll one that'll change soon. Jaden Ledbetter, I think, will be caught out a little bit by this as Hayden Pineda finds himself up into second. Gonna try to see if he makes a look for first as a result of the speed. He's gonna have to slide in for the moment. But Ethan Hamlet getting the fastest lap of the most recent time by.
Crazy battles right now.
Oh, man, yeah. You can see how bumpy it is still. We look on off of the roof camera of this. You can see the 4 LMP3s, including the one we're riding along with.
Yeah.
Just how bumpy this track really is.
So we are on lap 19, 26 minutes in. I think we're probably about 3.5 minutes from when we might start seeing our first round of scheduled pit stops. And we're going to see.
Yes. Scheduled pit stops soon. Multi-class traffic, GT4s, GT3s, LMP3s, all piled together on this back half of the track.
And this is what I'm talking about. This is where patience is going to be a virtue because, you know, as much as you would like them to not be in front of you, they also can't disappear. Definitely Gian Cardoso going to try and maximize traffic management as much as possible. Actually using Kyle Potter for a little bit of blocking duty.
No, not intentionally, but just kind of figuring his way through.
Managing to work his way through and build a little bit of a gap between himself and Herbert Pineda Sr. Herbert Pineda Sr. Whoa, here we go.
Ethan
Hamlet. Yeah, he's locked in with Jaden right now as they get ready to go into turn 3.
Trying to outrun into John Newman, who is the GT4 off to the left at McLaren. And you have the GT3 McLaren in between those two of Gab Chavez trying to find his way around. Yep. And these two into a battle here. There's also a crash for GT3 I want to cover. Oh my gosh, Joseph Mility trying to get around Stephen McLean. Multi-class traffic just really hampering some of these efforts to stay ahead of each other. Anthony Newman, Adrian Marozak, Tommy Cogan all labeled together into a crash. I'm going to take a look here at what happens as we get into the braking zone here. Braking zone happens. Too much rotation, not enough rotation. Oh, looks to avoid running into Adrian Marozak. Almost crashes into the car. And Tommy Cogan does bump into Adrian Marozak, which is how that gap opens up so much between those two drivers.
But I think most people are going to get out without any significant damage and keep their races going with respect to one another.
Yeah. Steve McLean finding himself at the tail end of the 3 drivers off the podium in GT3 as a result of multi-class traffic really causing issues, and that's not going to get any better.
There it is. There it is.
The loss of rear
Unfortunate.
bumper. Oh, and then Garrett Hillman is just going to add to the problems.
Yep.
And
those yellow flag indicators are real.
Yep.
They are real.
Steve McLean, Garrett Hillman with both towing to pit lane.
Yeah.
Garrett Hillman with a meatball flag. What happened there? I'm so curious. Just on the limited grip, Ethan Hamlet trying to find his way through. It does see the top battle for that podium spot, all the podium spots, split open. Very, such a big gap between them.
Yeah, it's sizable now, although it looks like Ethan Hamlet is closing in on Jaden a little bit, so maybe the damage isn't terminal. John Newman jumping to the pits. Yeah, it looks like everything's starting to kind of come apart here as we get towards the end of the first scheduled stint.
Yeah, as we get towards that halfway marker, problems seem to be mounting for some drivers. Christopher Blue also labeled as crash. He's still going, though. I wonder if this had to do with John Newman, who did jump to the pit lane here. This is a 3 wide into turn 3. This isn't going to end well. Why doesn't it end well? That's why it doesn't end well. It's because he gets turned by Drew Friedman, who then gets bumped into by John Newman, who then gets pit turned. And I think John Newman, out of desire to be safe and not cause problems, he's right on the racing line there. He jumps to pit lane.
I'm trying to navigate through more of this GT3 traffic.
Yeah, the gap, especially when you have these slower, the LMP3 and GT3 lap times, 2 seconds separate them two. Really, these straights are the only good spots that they have an opportunity to pass. Otherwise, they are almost as fast. And in some ways, in some areas, slower than the GT3s.
Yeah, it is. It's a tricky, again, this is the thing about patience on this circuit. Like, you just have to, you have to wait and then take your shot when the odds are in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you roll the dice when you got low odds. Sometimes you're just going to come up snake eyes. It's just how it is.
Benjamin O'Shea getting through. These drivers try to find his way up back into the fight for the podium spots. Ethan Hamlet finding himself in third.
So Gian Cardoso taking the dive in the pits on lap 21, cycles out P8 behind Luke Patrick. 20.7 seconds in the box.
Oh, Joseph Cardoso gonna spin. Was that self-imposed? Herbert Pineda is going to dive into the pit lane from the lead as well. So is Ethan Hamlet. So is Jaden Ledbetter. Take a quick look at this battle, this moment here. Big touch there, and too much gas before that car had settled from that bump over the curb. But he keeps that car going.
Unfortunate. Benjamin
O'Shea also going to dive in. Most of the LMP3s not making it the half hour, the 35 minutes to be the one-stop plan.
It may not be in the cards, but at the same time, I'm really kind of interested to see if anybody's going to try and actually pull it off.
I think Ethan Hamlet may be the only one who can at this point.
Gets a little scrape on the wall.
Oh, Austin Green labeled as crash. That is backwards. That is missing a trunk and a pretty hefty amount of damage there. Keeps it out of the way. Let's see what happened here.
That is Sector 3.
Yeah.
This is almost the same spot, I think, where Joey spun.
It is, but I wonder if he had help. Let's take a look at that again.
No, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. If we get a look at from Gian Cardoso's perspective, I think that's going to be interesting. Gian Cardoso goes into that corner. Does he end up in the trunk?
Oh, just the briefest of touches, it looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know if it fully is or if it just looks that way from the onboard.
I mean, if anything, I wouldn't be shocked if Netco got involved.
Yeah, too. Black flag out of Herbert Pineda for, I'm going to say, probably incident limits at this point.
Herbert Pineda could be for pit lane infraction. 48.3 seconds in the pits, 23 in the box.
Ooh.
That could be a pit lane speed penalty.
Could indeed. Looks like those 3 seconds are all in the pit box, which is why I'm kind of curious. Ethan Hamlet also not able to go the full 35 minutes, and will find himself diving in this lap for that, along with Jake Fulton.
Yeah.
But he's going to cycle back out.
Hamlet already on his out. Robert Lewis was labeled as crashed, now in 10th in GT3.
I wonder if Luke Patrick's going to make the two-stop work with the splash and dash at the beginning because of the incidents earlier. As he inherits the lead of the race. Nathan Hamlet, despite having the same pit lap time, ends up ahead of the rest of the drivers as a result of the speed he was able to kind of pull out in the 2 laps of clean air he had.
Yeah, he also was in the box for 21 and a half seconds. Got a few people. Herbert Pineda Sr. was in the box for 23 seconds. So Herbert just like left a bunch of time on the table. Taking a look at Jaden Ledbetter. Jaden Ledbetter's times were comparable. It was a little bit faster. Going into this right now, Ethan's right in front of Gian Cardoso to the tune of 9/10. You may take a look at the data. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, say multi-class data or multi-class traffic is going to separate those 2 drivers and bring that fight back into Jaden Ledbetter's reach for Gian Cardoso.
Tanner Schiffner and Kyle Potter both in the pits. Tanner Schiffner in the outlap phase, and he's going to cross the line and get back out on track at the 35-minute mark almost exactly. I'm kind of curious what happened.
What happened here?
Alex is just trying to get the car there. Did he run out of fuel?
I'm not.
Did he try and push too far?
I think he did. He might have. He has a meatball flag.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too late. Nathan, let's go here, and then let's see. That's Sean Sullivan. That's Sean Sullivan bumping into Herbert Pineda. Or not, sorry, that was Velasco. That is what happened with that car.
Yeah, that's why he's got a meatball flag. Yep, and he's got probably a broken right suspension.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, taking a look at the GT3 data, we got Tanner Schiffner pulling in at lap 23, almost at the 35-minute mark exactly. I suspect him, Kyle Potter, Andrew Mathias, probably going to attempt the one-stopper, if I had to guess. Taking a look at the GT4s, Levi Powell, Corey Lobner, and Austin Green's on lap 21 for his second stop, but he had an accident. But it does look like we got some GT4s going to do it.
That makes sense. I think given the nature of their fuel cells, I think if anybody was going to do it, it's going to be that one. Jaden Ledbetter having a brief moment with the wall. Gian's internet had a moment where it was a little bit concerning, but I think it's settled down now. He's back into it with us with no issues. Luke Patrick, I think, having a pretty fantastic run after the recovery of that spin early on. Question is whether or not it will be enough to keep himself out once he goes in for his proper full stop. Oh, Tim Mello in the box for a lot longer than a lot of the drivers in GT4.
Yeah, 36 seconds. That might be for some damage.
That or the full, yeah, maybe some damage or tires. I'm not quite sure how long those take off the top of my head.
So just taking a look at some of the other pit stop data. Christopher Blue pitting on lap 20, spending only 19.98 seconds, so roughly 20 seconds. The other thing that could be interesting, too, with the two-stopper is if people are going to basically short run some stops, like maybe they do, maybe they're looking at, maybe he's looking at, this could be like a 60-ish lap race. And I'm going to do 20 to try and get the car home. And, you catch one of these guys that are basically running the car till it's completely out of fuel, and they basically just sit there stationary while fuel's got to go into the car. So that could be another thing we could be seeing in these pit stop battles.
Yeah, it definitely could be. It'd be interesting to see how that develops over the next half of this race. Benjamin O'Shea right behind these two drivers, trying to get around Tanner Schiffner. Tanner Schiffner not being as, I would say, cordial. I think just the timing of it. Benjamin O'Shea just looking at every opportunity there. It's going to keep that car going the right direction. Followed along with those two, Jaden Ledbetter, Gian Cardoso. Jaden Ledbetter really utilizing all the track, bouncing off the wall in a couple of spots. I'm really curious if that's just on our sim or how much he's, kind of pressuring that left-hand side in those corners. But otherwise, Oh my gosh, that's yet another one. I'm really curious if he's overdriving it at this point and trying to keep up with Gian Cardoso.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be tricky to, again, you want to push, you want to try and stay close to your competitor, but at the same time, you just got to manage the traffic because it is so tricky around here, and it's so tricky to pass, and it is so easy to crash.
That it certainly is. Ethan Hamlet, a 123.11, so a solid second and some change faster than Luke Patrick, who's sitting in the lead. 3 wide.
Yeah,
oh
it
my
is.
gosh.
I wonder if we're going to see a 22 before the end of this race. Yep, this is. I really don't know if this ends well.
It thankfully does for the moment, but it makes this 2-way fight into a 3-way fight for the bottom step of the podium.
Nada Senior marked as crashed.
Yeah. Let's see what happened there. Sean Sullivan.
Get back up to speed.
Yeah, he's doing okay. Let's see what happened real quick. Then we'll have a battle in GT3 to go check in on as a result. I think this might be part of the problem here. Oh, just gets pushed out of the way. Gets a little bit of a tap on the front left. Oh my gosh, almost runs into Jake Fulton. And
he'll be able to get going again.
Labeled as crashed again.
Jaden Ledbetter also
not the same one.
crashed.
No. What happened to Jaden Ledbetter? Too much curbing, too much rotation.
Yeah.
Neither of those. Cooks the brakes.
Find out.
Bounces off the curbing. Too much rotation.
Yep.
God, keeps it out of the wall.
Just the smallest touch.
Whoa.
I think he's going to be able to pull that off.
He is.
Getting that going again.
But he's going to be far way behind the drivers he was battling with earlier. Kyle Potter, I think, as well as Anthony Newman, as a result of that incident earlier, finds themselves within a few tenths of each other. Porsche in the GT3 category.
Big shout out to the 21 folks in chat hanging out with us as we're watching round number 5 here at Detroit Belle Isle.
Yeah, big thank you to everybody who's turned out this evening. It's been a busy one.
Yes, Chris, it is you. It is all 21 of you.
Jake Fulton pushing this battle too wide.
I just feel like this is not going to end well.
No, that cop pilot is just going to take advantage of that open door, try to get the pass done, and Anthony Newman's not going to let him have it. But he's finally going to back out and going to have to. Bit of contact there for Kyle Potter. Anthony Newman, I think, going to be looking for that opportunity to return the favor. And Christopher Blue, Andrew Matthias find themselves within half a second of each other as well.
Just checking at the day. I mean, right now, you got the battle with Christopher Blue, Andrew Matthias, Anthony Newman, Kyle Potter. Those are the closest fights on track. The battle between, Alex Velasco is really just trying to find his way around Tanner Schiffer to catch back up to Garrett Hillman. But I think we're just going to have to lock in on this battle, on the battles that we have access to, because it's just going to be tough from here on out. Like, the drivers now have, effectively another, what at this point, 22 minutes, or no, excuse me,
27 minutes.
27 minutes, yeah, before we're going to see the next round of pit stops. Well, no, we'll probably see the next round of pit stops probably, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes before the end of the race, for people that are getting the splash. But yeah, I think from here on out, it's going to be managing traffic and trying to hold your composure. What happened here with Logan?
Yeah, he was labeled as crashed again. I was taking a look at what it was, trying to talk through it, but then realized my mic was muted, so not very helpful.
Lost the back end, mid corner.
Got to be frustrating on an already pretty frustrating night. John Newman in a similar boat, I think. Probably hits.
I just saw a little twitch on corner exit there. Like the rears were already at the limit of grip.
Mm-hmm. Jaden Ledbetter with a crash that takes him to pit lane with a meatball flag. What happens here?
Wonder if that's race over for Jaden. Jump to the pits.
Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa.
just
Locks
thought
it up.
he had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was showing the nose to Tommy, thinking that he had it, and then realizing that maybe he didn't, threw the anchors on out of desperation and just eats the wall.
Oh.
Or he might have just forgot what corner he was going into. I don't know. Like that just looked weird.
That is a very one. Lost track of corners. Okay, Jaden will confirm it. You said there. That makes sense. That is the one that looked like the most.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, I think he was showing him the nose because he was like, okay, this corner coming up here, I can take him here. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute. No, this one's, I need to be slower. And then unfortunately, the threw the anchor out too late.
Yeah, these two still within a second of each other. Takes our battle for P3 to a close for the moment as Gian Cardoso tries to find his time back. GT3, I believe we have this battle here for these drivers. Robert Lewis labeled as crashed as well. He's backwards. He's still moving, so that's a good sign.
I wonder if there was maybe just like a bounce on corner entry, spun the car around.
Let's see. He does jump to pit lane.
I guess.
So,
Yeah, I wonder if he jumped to pit lane because it was going to be too tricky to try and navigate.
I think so. It was going to be a really hard one. The curbing. Oh, just a bit of a accordion effect.
They were really close.
Yeah.
And then,
Tanner Schiffner had nowhere to go without running into him.
Really tight right there.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate. Unfortunate for Beltan. Man, taking a look at, believe it or not, like the attrition factor really hasn't been that much, honestly. Like, we've lost 5 so far. I want to say 6 now with Logan Branson, but
well, I mean, maybe we'll see if he comes back out again. Tim Mello trying to find his way around Drew Friedman, and you have the leader of GT3 right behind these two drivers. Vijay Marazak going to pit in the second time. Yeah, I'm very curious as to what happened here. Drew Friedman diving into the pit lane. He's getting his second pit stop done as well. What happened here for Logan Branson a second time in a brief window? Tries to avoid, just overcooks the brakes for Dave Schneider. Tries to get back on the power, overcooks the rotation, slides out, bumps off the back, and I think tows it from there.
Took the swing off. Yeah. Unfortunate, man. The bumps, to be honest, I think more than the traffic management, I think the bumps have claimed the most.
Certainly.
Right here. It has been really tough. Oh, and Luke Patrick in the wall, and that was a significant knock.
He gets into pit lane though.
Yeah, but I'm betting that left suspension is not happy.
Oh, there it is. You saw it.
Yeah. Yep.
We caught up with that.
Saw that slide, and I was like, yep, I think that's going to be a bit of a knock. And I wonder if Luke Patrick can use this opportunity. If he can hang on to these tires,
he's got the quick
do
repair.
the fast repair.
Yeah, he got the quick repair.
And then get that fuel in and get back out on track. You might be able to maximize the fact that you've got a short stop here.
Mm-hmm. Take a look further. Multi-class traffic of Logan Branson. Speaking of, catching these two and putting them back into a fight with each other. Biggest on-track action right now is these two drivers here, Christopher Blue, Andrew Matthias. Only drivers within a second of each other. Top 3 in each class. Ethan Hamlet, Benjamin O'Shea, and Gian Cardoso is going to be the head of GT or LMP3 Pro. LMP3 AM is going to be headed up by Jake Fulton, Herbert Pineda, and then Garrett Hillman in third there. GT3, we'll see Tanner Schiffner, Tommy Kogan, Kyle Potter after all the chaos that we saw earlier on in GT3. To talk about this, we see the pass for between Christopher Blue and Andrew Matthias. Andrew Matthias not willing to let that go. GT4 Pro, Jake Hewitt, Scott Fleming, Colin Johnson, top 3 there. Drew Friedman, Sean Sullivan, and Adrian Marizak can be the top 3 in GT4M. All right. Nope, that is battle.
Just looking at the data right now. I'm trying to gather. Are we about to see anybody? We're about to hit that 50-minute mark. I wonder if we're going to see anybody pull the trigger on some early stops. We have had a few people that have decided to go for it. Christopher Blue navigating some poor traffic as he is trying to build a gap to Andrew Matthias. Scott Fleming's in the pits. I wonder if he's listening on stream, but I'm really kind of curious if we see a lot of people starting to pull the trigger for pit number 2.
6 seconds in the box for Scott Fleming. I think it's going to be some fast pit stops. We have 20 minutes left for these drivers. Yeah. Kyle Potter going to be driving defensively through the final corners as Anthony Newman closes the distance thanks to multi-class traffic over the past lap. And really going to be hounding these drivers. You see Scott Fleming, who we just talked about, re-entering the track there right in front of Gab Chavez, who's only 3 seconds behind these two drivers. Closing stages here. Anthony Newman looking for the opportunity. Kyle Potter not giving him one. And a meatball flag for Jake Fulton this time, with no real indication of what happened there. Let's see if I can go back at least far enough to where this occurs. Yeah, there's a couple corners before that. We should see it up here. Gian Cardoso is going to dive in. Oh, that'll be it. That'll do it. That's painful. Then he's going to have been labeled as crashed here a couple corners later.
The thing I will say, and this is something that this is a track that I really enjoy, and enjoyed it when the 488 challenge was a thing, but I really got to wonder what this track is like to race on for 70 minutes, because I think the concentration is probably. I mean, it's got to be so tough. I mean, hats off to everybody who even showed up for this race, because again, I think this one's going to be a tough one for the books. I think one thing I'm really interested to see the incident data afterwards, because I'm wondering how different this is from Laguna and Long Beach. Now, keep in mind,
such a good run. Anthony Newman's making a look. I don't mean to interrupt you. And Kyle Potter's going to squeeze, but Anthony's latest on the brakes, pushes out wide, gives him the space, makes the pass done for the moment.
These two.
Yeah, fucking multi-class traffic, however, may throw a weird hat back into the ring of this. Anthony Newman taking the racing line, going to have the good exit here. Kyle Potter as well. Incident data, though, I think will be so crucial to kind of learn how crazy because you also have the 20-minute feature or heat race before this. So 20 minutes, a small break, and then 70 minutes, still like an hour and a half of multi-class racing on a street circuit. I gotta imagine it's pretty brutal for drivers.
Yeah. I'm going to be interested, though, because, I mean, we've got 11 less drivers than we had at Laguna. Approximately, I'd say 10 to 15 drivers less than we had at Long Beach. But I haven't really seen, like, the same level of incidents that we had at those previous 2 rounds. And I actually think this track is harder than the other 2. But, we'll wait to hear from the drivers on what they think about it. But which I'm sure I'm probably going to get a bunch of hate mail for picking this track, but that's fine. I'm a big boy. I can take my lumps. That said, it's just been awesome watching these guys. These guys and girls put their fear aside and just like drive on a very difficult circuit, even by yourself. Now do it with like 3 different classes. It's just crazy.
Yeah, say I know driving for 90 minutes on Long Beach for the IndyCar full length racing, and the win I got there as a result, very taxing. And I could only imagine adding multi-class for that
Hmm.
level
Yeah.
of driving for a total, for 90 minutes is just
Yeah. Brutal.
bone wrenching and brutal, and really, especially if your sim's one that has some power to it, definitely one that you're, getting your workout in for the day as well.
Yeah.
Watching
Like,
Nathaniel Baker crawl his way back up the order after his incidents earlier, breaking back into the top 10. John Newman labeled as crashed. What happened there? Jake Hewitt's going to enter the pits for his final pit stop. 10 seconds on the jacks there for him.
yeah, I think we're going to see I think we're going to see some really snappy pit stops here in a moment because again, I think there's a few people who still maybe have a shot at pulling off the one stopper, but I think it's going to be interesting. Tanner Schiffner right now, currently 6 seconds back. Also, really interested to find out if somebody can pull off the one stopper so that I can then ask them like, how did you do that? Because I had our man on the ground, Chris Turner, tell me it was going to require 6 laps of fuel save, which I don't think he's wrong. Like, I mean, it's going to take a mega fuel save to do a one stop around here in 70 minutes, but at the same time, too, just kind of curious how you did it. How was the sausage made? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's Alex Flasco working his way back through the order again.
Yep.
Keeping an eye on a couple of the smaller battles that are floating around. Battle between Anthony Newman and Kyle Potter split up as Anthony comes in to do his final pit stop. 7 seconds for Anthony Newman, so something to keep in mind there when we see Kyle Potter come down for his final stop is how long he's going to be in the box. Steve McLean, a bit of a hard race for him, finds himself in for his final stop as well.
So Gian Cardoso, 9 seconds. Luke Patrick was 16 seconds, but he was two laps prior. Herb Pineda Sr. has yet to pit. Jake Fulton was 32 seconds, and he was a few laps prior. Also taking a look at the GT4s, a good chunk of them have already taken pit stops. But at the same time, too, the level of casualties in the GT4 section has been pretty high and probably our more concentrated section of casualty.
Yeah, there's definitely one.
Yeah.
The battles have really caused differing levels of attrition as well as who's had incidents, who hasn't. Colin Johnson finding himself up in the lead as a result of multi-class traffic. Stephen McLean trying to get out of the way to allow Benjamin O'Shea to continue the battle for the lead of the race. 3 seconds behind Ethan Hamlet. I think it's going to be a pretty busy one. Track, you see cars all over it, but all of them are just trying to keep going the right direction at this moment. You see all of the intervals off to the left on the timing tower well and truly spread apart. So kind of keeping an eye on the numbers at this point, the data like Welp has been telling us about. Or Phil, excuse me.
Oh, you can call me Welp. It's fine.
I'll call you everything. Just all at once.
Yeah. But just taking a look right now. So Alex Velasco in for his pit stop. I mean, we're talking like big pit stop winners here. I mean, on lap 35, getting a 6-second pit stop out of Jake Fulton is going to be really valuable for him to catch back up to Herbert Pineda Sr., who has yet to pit. His last pit stop was a 23.8. He is going to have a little less fuel in the tank this time, though. So it'll be interesting to see.
Ethan Hamlet running a 121.
I knew it.
Oh, man.
I knew it. Knew it was going to happen.
Brutal.
It was going to happen. He's just absolutely he's dialed in. He's just dialed in.
Yeah.
Dialed in. We're going to have to come up with a category next season. We're going to have
just one LMP2.
Just one LMP2, and it's going to be Ethan.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, Ethan, can you survive the entire season?
Or a GR86 and see how far he finishes up the GT4 order.
I mean, that'd be pretty tricky. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, I mean, if anybody could do it, I think it's Ethan Hamlet at this point.
So just taking a look again, and Jake Hewitt finds himself 4/10 back from Colin Johnson, but Colin Johnson has yet to pit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the next closest person that JQ's got to worry about is Scott Fleming, and we're going to see the tail of the tape when we see Corey Lobner and Tim Mello dive into the pits about what
Yeah.
the real what's the real deal. Because right now it looks like about I want to say 17 seconds, which is mega. And Jake Hewitt, might not want to take that level of risk on Colin Johnson right now because this man has to pit. So you trying to hustle your way around him, might find yourself in the wall.
There's a look. Colin Johnson runs a little wide. So, bit of a wild one. Luke Patrick, after starting on pole, see him there amongst all these drivers, finds himself back up into third after everything's said and done.
Can we talk about how the fact that the top three for a good chunk of this race is not the top three right now? Like
Yeah.
Ethan Hamlin, Benjamin O'Shea, Luke Patrick. Like that was wild. But we have LMP3 has been a dramatic race for LMP3. Like we have seen the order flip flop around quite a bit here.
They've had so few small well, they've had plenty of small incidents, but it's either feels like ones that they just kind of immediately drive away from without really having anything but a small slide, or they're explosive and race ending, and there's zero in between.
Yeah. Now keep in mind though, so we have Ethan, Benjamin O'Shea diving in the pits, cannot make it to the end, and he's going to have to take a pit stop right now. And Ethan Hamlet's still going around lap 43. We are in the last 10 minutes and change. Well, actually 9 minutes and change because we're about to eclipse the 9-minute mark to the end of this race. So it is 7.52 seconds on the jacks.
Gosh.
Is he going to manage to sneak out in front of Luke Patrick, though? That's going to be the question.
Yeah.
Significant savings, and it looks like he's going to pull it off.
Yeah, I think he's managed to do so pretty well. I mean, Luke Patrick has had such in addition to the big incident that he kind of comes in to get the fast repair for and all that other jazz, he has had a few other spins and small slides, which I think has cost him the time. But he's only 7 seconds behind, at this point, to Benjamin O'Shea. So it's going to be, I think, one that if he can keep up the consistency, he at least gets as close as he can. And then the real question will be also, where does Ethan Hamlet finish amongst all these? Does he stick out the one stop?
I gotta think if I'm Ethan Hamlet, man. Like I think I'm getting a feeling, I'm getting a vibe that that it's going to be close. Here's the thing. So let's imagine a world where Ethan Hamlet decides to go into the pits right before the end of the race, top off the fuel.
Yeah.
Benjamin O'Shea was only on pit lane for 31.57 seconds after sitting in the box for 7.5 seconds. Like Ethan Hamlet could stop, I think, for fuel right now and still come out ahead. It is like, I don't think he has to do it. I'm just kind of curious if he's doing it. And then with Tanner Schiffner, kind of like a similar deal here. Tanner Schiffner is now, we had a stop from, I believe, Anthony Newman for 7.5 seconds. Like, I don't think he's got to do much to get it home. And these cars are right there. Jaden Ledbetter. Is Jaden Ledbetter bumping Gab Chavez down the, like,
it was not intentional.
Black flag Ledbetter. just out there doing black flag things.
Yeah.
Sailing the high seas. looking for GT4s to mob.
Meatball flag for Logan Branson. I think a bad night going to worse for him over the course of this. Dave Schneider as well. Colin Johnson diving into pit lane. He can't go the distance. Meatball flag for Benjamin O'Shea for this reason right here. That's Benjamin O'Shea that ends up right there in that wall.
That is super unfortunate.
And so
just the closing speed didn't see it, and creating that kind of impact, and that is unfortunate.
That's all it takes.
That's a meatball flag for Benjamin O'Shea.
Yeah, and that would be why.
Unfortunate.
You can see it there in the braking zone, how that car just snaps on him because that suspension is busted. That'll give.
Feel bad for Benjamin.
I think the positions as I think a good host of them. I don't think he's taken that not the black, but the fast repair yet for himself. So he's going to dive into pit lane to do so. But it puts Gian Cardoso back onto the podium spot after an hour and 4 minutes, 64 minutes of racing with 6 minutes left to go. It gives the opportunity, should he keep it going the right direction over the next 6 minutes. And that is not a quick repair because he's already used the quick repair. So Benjamin O'Shea is probably going to be there for the end of this race as a result, unfortunately.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Nathaniel Baker, Garrett Hillman. Garrett Hillman into the pit lane, came back out, finds himself in a battle further down the order for LMP3. This is going to be in for 8th overall. The 98 and the 99 battling each other for that position. Oh.
Benjamin O'Shea. Unfortunate, man.
Painful.
Just taking a look right now. Still waiting to see. Are we going to see Tanner Schiffner dive into the pits or not? Currently holding a 9-second gap on Tommy Kogan.
Oh, man.
Also has not pitted.
Herbert Pineda, as well as Jake Fulton battling it out for the lead of LMP3. Am all the way is back.
Also got to talk about the King of Chicago, man. Gab Chavez, after starting in the back of the field, also on what appears to be a potential one-stopper, currently in 4th. Gained 5 spots on the race. Not bad. Not bad. Would you like to know the biggest amount of positions gained relative to the start of this race? That would be Ethan Hamlet with 37 because he started at the back.
Oh, man.
But anyway, so...
That is...
Those positions are not real. He moved up to the back of LMP3. Now, he is in front of LMP3, so he did pass them all.
He did go up 11 positions in class. 37 overall, but 11 in class to go from last to first.
Ooh,
but he
Ethan
does...
Hamlet in the pits?
He is coming into pits. How long is he going to be in the box? The answer... 5 seconds.
5 seconds, and I think that's going to be enough for him to get around.
I think so.
I think Luke Patrick.
Tommy
not gonna
Kogan
get there quite in time.
can't make the distance.
Ooh, Tommy Kogan in the pits. This is going to be shaky for him and Kyle Potter, Gab Chavez. We've also got Andrew Mathias, Joey Melitti. Joey Melitti trying to pull off a one-stop, it looks like.
Gian Cardoso getting his fastest time of the race in. Still solidly in 3rd as a result of that issue with Benjamin O'Shea.
Yep.
Let's see. We'll put Tommy Kogan out, I believe, behind Kyle Potter.
Kyle Potter, Gab Chavez. Where's Gab Chavez at? Only 9/10 back from Tommy. Yeah. Now, if he's on the fuel save, though, like, is he really going to try and go into attack mode, or is he just going to settle for 4th is the question.
Yeah, that's going to be the big one. Does he have the ability to work?
Kyle Potter
oh, my gosh.
Kyle Potter looks like he is limping along.
Mm-hmm.
Is he trying to get, is he in the danger zone?
I think he might be.
He is definitely going slow relative to Tommy Kogan.
Herbert Pineda making the look, has to tuck back in, doesn't have the run. Jake Fulton making that car as wide as possible to keep that car behind.
Tommy Kogan now 3/10 back from Kyle Potter.
Taking a look between both of these.
Corey Lobner's in the pits.
Oh, multi-class traffic gonna make it a little bit harder for Tommy Kogan to keep this battle together. But there's a battle between Garrett Hillman and Nathaniel Baker. Heat feature at the race. Benjamin O'Shea. There are still so many races left of this season. I think retiring halfway through would be doing a disservice to the consistency I think you've had largely throughout 3 wide. Jeez.
Oh, wow. That was crazy. And everybody made it out
and
alive.
we all survive. Yes. Gap opens up for Tommy Kogan. Almost now less than a second to Gab Chavez behind him as a result of all that chaos and craziness, but they get through it just fine. Pineda and Jake Fulton still in half a second battle with each other as
Joey
well.
Maliti couldn't make it.
Oh,
Joey
man.
Maliti couldn't make it. He's in the box. He's going to the box right now.
A minute left, 2 laps, I believe.
Yep.
It'll be white this time by as Ethan Hamlet crosses the line, which means we get to watch a few battles sort themselves out over the next 2 laps. One of which is going to be this battle between Herbert Pineda and Jake Fulton. And then we have a battle between Tommy Kogan, Kyle Potter in the GT3 podium. This is going to be for the LMP3 AM win. And the question, I think, remains is, do they have enough to get through all of it?
That is a good question. I think it's going to be tricky to find out. Does look like Tanner Schiffner is going to come home with that.
Big moment for Jake Fulton. And that's going to give the position to Herbert Pineda. But it's not over yet. So they have to get through multi-class traffic, which isn't going to make it any easier on them. Herbert Pineda going to really capitalize on that gap that he's created. And Jake Fulton going to tuck in behind, not risk it here. Going to power through this corner. Really trying to fight.
I think you're going to have Ethan Hamlet right behind these dudes, getting ready to come across the line as well. Ethan Hamlet, quite the recovery. Win on the streets of Detroit. That's impressive. How about that Tanner Schiffner one-stopper? Is that 2? Is that 2 one-stoppers for Tanner? I think. Are you with us?
I am indeed. Excuse me.
Okay.
I had my buttons backwards.
Gotcha.
But yes.
Gotcha. Kyle Potter with a brief touch of the wall there.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough, though, for Tommy Kogan to get past him. Also a one stop for Kyle Potter. So a P2 and a P3 for Tommy Kogan, who I don't think is too happy with that result.
And just throws the wedge into the wall. And so that said, definitely interesting how in these 70-minute races we've been seeing the one stop as an option.
Yeah.
We've seen it in the last 2 rounds in particular. Very interesting.
Yeah, it has been a fun one. I'm curious to see how, that. And we've also been on tracks that are super technical, not a lot of long straights to use a lot of fuel quickly. Jake Fulton going to come on P2. Herbert Pineda getting that win in LMP3 AM as a result.
Just looking at the GT4 finishing order, Jake Hewitt.
Tim Mello.
What is that? Yeah,
Scott
Tim
Fleming
Mello with a good result.
Yeah, great recovery there. Tim
Yep,
Mello
yep,
doing the
and-
one stop in GT4 Pro.
Yeah. I don't think we had a single one stop in GT4 AM, but Sean Sullivan's going to take that top spot with Drew Freeman and Adrian Maruzak.
Oh, fantastic podium there. Sean Sullivan getting a bit of a redemption arc with that one. Let's see if I can pull up the points here for these drivers. Or not the points, the finishing results. Let me put it that way.
And it looks like it is has Corey Lobner taken the checkered flag? Oh, no. Jaden just decided to push him straight into a wall.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Here, let's see if I can...
Black flag shenanigans again.
Yep. Let's see... Yep.
That is ridiculous. What is going on? This is ridiculous.
There's the rear gearbox, and there's both of them deleting the car.
Yeah, sandwiching Corey Lobner into a wall.
All right.
Benjamin O'Shea, that sucks so much. I know, dude, but I mean, just dust yourself off and get back into it, dude. The action was so good, and you were contributing to the show. It was
And you have 3 drop rounds to burn through.
Yeah,
So
3 drop rounds to burn through, and I think Watkins Glen is going to be a bit of a redemption story for some folks. That's my call right now. Calling it right now.
Let's talk through some results. Ethan Hamlet going to take home the win there, starting in last in the overall LMP3 category, ending up in first at the end of 70 minutes of racing. Luke Patrick in second after some incidents there. Took him a little bit further away. Gian Cardoso back to front to back again and back to third position. So a fantastic result of consistency and keep putting in the laps. As well as Jaden Ledbetter coming home in fourth with Nathaniel Baker in fifth. Alex Velasco is going to be a lap down from all those drivers in sixth. And then Benjamin O'Shea a few laps down in seventh after the late race incident from Logan Branson collecting him to take him out. So he will get his redemption at least next week, if not more consistently throughout the rest of this one. Thank you for the raid, Krakow Gaming. Welcome to the results. LMP3AM. Phil.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. LMP3 AM, Herbert Pineda Sr. again with the top finish. Jake Fulton in second with Garrett Hillman, Alan Love, and Cam Robertson. Cam Robertson retiring the car after some pretty nasty scrapes. Well, no, I don't think he retired the car. I think he just finished 36 laps down. So hats off to him for sticking it out to the end. Because look, well, was it him?
I think he retired it. He had really big.
I'm getting the liveries mixed up. That's all.
Yes, yeah.
But that said, still good effort for Herbert Pineda Sr. on debut, and 3 seconds, not that far of a gap for Jake Fulton with Herbert Pineda having some good pace.
Up until the brief misstep, which I think is all that Herbert Pineda was waiting for. Yep. Jake Fulton had made that car so wide and did such a good job keeping up with Herbert Pineda and keeping him behind. So I think there's definitely an opportunity there for those two drivers to keep working and pushing themselves forward into the back half of this racing season. Finally a podium, Gian. A well-deserved one given the craziness of this race.
Yeah. Very wild race.
Yeah. GT3, Tanner Schiffner going to take home the win there. 32 seconds ahead of Kyle Potter, who narrowly beats out Tommy Kogan with a one-stop strategy, keeping him a second ahead. Gab Chavez is going to be in fourth, coming up from the end of the grid after a late race incident in the heat puts him in the back for the start of this. Anthony Newman coming in fifth there, also having a couple of issues with multi-class traffic. Andrew Matthias rounding out the 6 cars on the lead lap with Christopher Blue, Joseph Melidi, Stephen McLean, Robert Lewis being the top 10, and then Austin Green and Matt Pyle. Robert Lewis, Austin Green, I don't think finished this race, and Matt Pyle had connection issues on top of a rough race practice, so decided to abstain, so he did not start this one. This was, I think, the class we kept coming back to pretty much all night.
Indeed, it was very tight battles up and down the order, and really good racing from this class for sure.
GT4 Pro, Phil.
Yeah, Jake Hewitt coming away with an 18-second gap on Tim Mello to take the win here in Detroit. Tim Mello with a good podium finish. That's going to be a good points haul. Scott Fleming managing to scrape by with third, but still good points for Scott in the standings. Colin Johnson in fourth with Corey Lobner in fifth and Levi Powell in sixth.
Yeah, and all these drivers finish ahead of the GT4 AMs. Some great consistency out of the GT4 drivers that come home to take the checkered flag. It was, I think, probably the hardest race I think I've seen for the GT4 drivers all season so far. And just being really cognizant of multi-class traffic and having to really give room for battles, the 3 wides down to turn number 3, which really, I got to imagine is really harrowing when you're the slowest class of the 3. And you have an LMP3 and a GT3 off to your right as you're holding on the racing line on the left in the entry. So, but Sean Sullivan going to take home the win there, just ahead of Drew Friedman. Those two battling it out at the end there for the final spot, with the Adrian Marozak rounding out that podium. A great result for Adrian, with Sean Harvey, John Newman in top 5, Logan Branson, David Schneider. The last two, I believe that finished the race. Andrew Seelig as well as William Lewis a few laps down. But I think that takes us. I think that takes us to the end of everything. Final thoughts on the GT4s and the race as a whole.
I mean, GT4s, that had to have been brutal, but at the
Yeah.
same time, the folks that were able to finish the race out, I think are going to come away with good points. It's a pretty big moment to score some good points, especially with 3 drop rounds. If you can turn a track like Detroit into one of your keepers, I think that's going to be I think it's going to pay good dividends. So, hats off to everybody in the field that participated in the race, and it was a really good show. And again, I think relative to the last 2 rounds prior to this one, I think the incident count's going to come across as being a little bit low. I'm going to wait for Jaden to tell me that I'm wrong. Fine. I'm a big boy. I can take my lumps. But Detroit, in my opinion, it delivered. So I'm just saying, I think we just, keep doing this every year. That's just what I'm saying.
Once a year.
Throw that out there.
Go to Detroit Belle Isle. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it definitely was a show that we had no shortage of things to talk about. So I think it's definitely going to be one that we will. I'm excited the next time we come back here. I always feel like I love the racing that we get at Detroit. Class M's a
I think it's a good track. I think it delivers. Yeah.
I think it does. It was 2 seasons ago, 4 seasons ago. Was it early last year or midway through last year? I don't remember. One of them had an IMSA split on here. I don't remember where, but it was wild when it came to it.
I mean, it's just so tough in just single class racing. Multi-class is just wild. But at the same time, I'm really glad that we got to see racing here, and I'm just really glad that everybody put on in my opinion, a really amazing show. Yes. Like I didn't think there was anything. I was just shocked. I was expecting chaos. I was expecting calamity. We got a little bit of spice, but to be perfectly honest, I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think Jaden is.
Are you telling me I'm wrong? Are you telling me I'm wrong, Jaden? Tell me yes or no if I'm wrong here.
Get out off track. That's why. Versus Chicago, where you can. That's right, you can in Chicago. Crofty level commentating here. I'm not. Is that a good thing? I don't know Crofty well enough as a commentator, unfortunately.
I mean, I think Crofty's good. Okay. I think he's not my favorite to listen to, but He is knowledgeable, well put together. That said, I'll take anybody saying that if I were a Hindi level for like Radio Le Mans, I'll take that. But I'm also not Scottish, so it doesn't work. But anyway,
an American Hindi, got it.
Yeah. The Southern Hindi. How about that?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But that said, should I get a raid queued up?
Let's get a raid queued up. We'll talk about what we're doing next week. Such a great race. I'm excited to see what the back half holds, especially as we get into more proper, less street course, more of the dedicated racing circuits that are going to be, I think, at least a little less bumpy. So all of the, small incidents that we saw of the spins from just drivers getting caught out by the acceleration and really nailing the throttle control that you need for this bumpy circuit. Okay, that's fully wrong. I don't know who's saying that I'm better than Crofty. That's a mistake. We'll get this raid kicked off. We will see you back here, I believe, in 3 weekends times. I'm not mistaken. No, we'll see you all in two weekends times. But I
believe Watkins is in next week.
Oh, that's right. But we are both busy.
Yeah, we're both actually not going to be here.
Oh, man, this has snuck up on me so brutally.
Yep. Surprise, everyone. That said,
yes. Well,
I'm sure Jaden's got it figured out.
We should probably don't.
But anyway,
yep. But we will be Track Limits Racing will have a broadcast, I believe, next week for the Glen. You will find we will be back in the booth the rest of the season after that for the remaining 4 races beyond Watkins Glen. I'm sad I get to miss the rain at the Glen, but hopefully it'll make for some good racing. All the same, I think rain just really determines who's got good understanding of the car in more than one condition. Jane Wally's in the car.
Jaden while he's in the car.
Perfect.
Jaden calling the race while he's in the car.
Yes.
Black flag Ledbetter while he's in the car calling a race. I can't wait. I'm sure everyone will survive. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be perfect.
That said, we got Aerotech coming up
All
here
right.
in a few moments. Everybody go give him a shout out. You want to give us a send off?
Certainly will. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you all very soon. If you want to be a part of the action, check us out on Discord or Twitch. Yeah, not Twitch. Sim Racing? I don't know. Wait, somewhere else.
Our cool website. How about that?
There we go. That's the one I was looking for. Yeah. Jesus. All right. Love y'all. Bye.
All right, cool. And we're close.
And then I can hit the buttons to get us into the outro, which actually has